Hello, everyone. Welcome to Drinks and Discussions. I am your host, Brian, and we Drinks and Discussions. It's been a while. I am glad you guys are all here with me. Alongside myself, I've got Paul, Sir Paul, and then Vic Ferrari. They are going to begin the stream with me. And if you are out there, you're on Discord, and you would like to join our esteemed panel, please just drop a line in the chat and we'll. So hello, Vic. Hello, Paul. Hello, Kane. Corso Mom. Hello, East Dad. Glad you guys are all here with us. I've got my drink ready, and I know that there has been. We're going to talk about more than just the Alabama brawl. You know how we do. We get in here, we start having conversations, and that kind of just goes into a different venue of a line of conversation. And I hope you guys are here for it all because you're going to be surprised by some of the perspectives we have. It might be something different. I do realize that we are kind of in that middle, maybe even end of the viral aspects of the brawl. But I've got some videos that I wanted to show you. If you haven't aren't familiar with it, I want to show it to you. Then have you guys seen a lot of the rebuttal videos or the videos, the commentary videos about it, and how funny these TikTok video shorts are? Have you guys seen any of those? So some of them are hilarious to me, and I wanted to share some of those things because you can kind of get down that wormhole of it's all about race, it's all about this. I'd like to have talk about those, but then also bring some levity to the station because we don't want anybody going away thinking that they can't share their ideas, and we are not in a position to pain and accept anyone despite the fact that they agree with us or not. Right, gentlemen? I'm gonna be smoking a cigar tonight on this thing, but I think a Perdomo. So, by the way, before we get started, Paul, I don't think you have children, but I know Vic and I do, and it was back to school for me. My 5-year-old is in kindergarten, and believe it or not, I made it through without crying. My wife made it through without crying as well. Baby, yeah, baby boy didn't cry. So we put him in like science camps and other little school kind of like things without us, and he's kind of used to not having us around. So it was okay. He was when he got in the car. If we picked him up, he was like, "Oh, I missed you guys. I missed you, mom. I missed you, dad," and kind of got emotional. But it wasn't like a cry. It was just kind of like, "I missed you guys." Made him feel better. Gung ho. He's ready to go. He's back, got his backpack ready. Came home, showed us what they worked on. Great thing to see. Having a son, or you're having your children around you 24/7. That moment when they're out of the house and then all of a sudden it's quiet. You kind of miss the screaming and the laughing and the nonsense bring. It was a little. It was a little. I was in my feelers. I didn't cry, but I was in my feelers today. For what time? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Right, right. Right. You know, Vic, your kids don't go to school this week. They don't wait till after it's September. Oh, it's next week. Okay. Well, hmm, I saw it. Yeah, yep, it was after Labor Day.
Yep.
I'm not sure if anybody was able to tell me this, but I just found out. I don't know if they could hear most of us guys were saying.
Oh.
Sorry.
Well, as usual, I wasn't saying anything important, so it doesn't matter.
And you know what? And it's funny. Every time I try to move something into the garage and have a different type of a scenery, I always mess up. But you know what? I do have to share something sad today. So, again, we have this community Facebook page. People share a lot of. I dropped my son off. One of the people in the communities posted that kid riding his bike to school got hit by a truck,
Oh man.
and it's in the community right next to ours.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
that's pretty sad.
Yeah, and he was like a bigger kid. I think it was high schooler. And he was going to football practice on his bike. Truck. I don't know if they didn't say whose fault it was or anything like that, but it was like at 5:30. The sun hadn't even come up, and
Mm,
it happened. That's one
That's
of those
pretty
things I just couldn't take. I mean, I had a lump in my throat even thinking about that, especially when you're sending your kids
yeah.
off right now in today's society. We already have these that I won't mention, but
Right.
especially for my little one who is new to him. So I made it clear to my wife, no busing, biking, walking. I am going to make sure that I pick up my son, drop him off, make sure he gets in the door, and if I hear sirens, far from where we live, sirens and that, I'll be up there, first person up.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be great at parties, Brian, haven't you? I mean, you come in, you say hello, then you bring the sad news in. The sad news comes in,
Call me
it
Debbie
bums
Downer for
everybody
coming.
else out. Yeah,
You know,
it bums everybody else there, and people
they
just either want a drink or just go into their own little corner and have a little whisper.
instead of drinks
Hmm.
and discussions, they're going to start calling me drinks and downers.
Yeah, I mean, I like that story I posted in the chat today about the woman from Texas who
Oh
getting
yeah,
bit by the snake. Yeah.
can you imagine that?
Did you read about this, Vic?
Yeah,
I did. I did. I'm not scared of a lot of things, man, but I'm scared of snakes. So that would have just a snake falling out of the sky on me. Oh my god, man.
what are the odds of that happening? What are the really good odds? In case you guys don't know, because we're kind of like we're all friends. We talk all the time throughout the day. So there's this story where a lady was outside, a hawk or some kind of a bird of prey had a snake in their beak or in their grasp, dropped it in
Yeah.
flight, landed on this lady's arm. The snake started biting her, and then the hawk came down and started scratching her, trying to get the snake back. It was the weirdest thing I've ever seen or heard in my life. And her arm
Yeah.
was all. Did
Well,
you see her arm? Her arm was all
Uh,
wrap up.
there is something weirder. There is something weirder. This is in ancient Greece. This is true. I can't remember his name, but I think it was a Greek philosopher or teacher who was walking down the road and he was bald, and an eagle dropped a tortoise on his head and killed him.
oh
Shut
jeez.
up.
It's true
Oh,
Wow.
because way eagles eat the tortoise, they'll drop them on stones, and he thought because the sun reflected off his head,
oh,
eagle
got it.
thought it was a stone, so he got killed
Jesus.
by a tortoise.
If
Wow. Crazy.
Just Google it. If you don't believe me, Google it.
that's
It's
oh
honestly
my
a true
god.
story.
Man, I can't even imagine. You know what
Walking,
they say?
yeah,
Your time.
yeah. You're walking down the road and suddenly this tortoise comes hurtling towards you.
Oh man, getting back to the starting of school and all that. I think for me, when it's something like the beginning of a new school, like this year, my youngest boy is going to be a freshman, and so for me, it's kind of like, oh man, he's got kind of that last leg now of education, at least here in town. I mean, if he goes off to college or trade school, military, I mean, whatever they decide to do. But so I know back when they started like kindergarten, because they had been in preschool and stuff, so it wasn't like it was brand new that they were out of the house. But it was like, once they start that full day kindergarten, now for that's kind of the next step in their progress of growing up. And when my younger son left elementary school to go into middle school, the COVID thing was going on, but that was kind of an emotional time for us because between the two of them, they had been at that school for all those years. We got to know the staff, the principal. We'd become pretty close with a lot of the people there, and it's out of town. It's on the kind of out in the country, so it's not like we could just drop by and see him. It's like a 15 minutes out of town, so that was kind of emotional because it was kind of, man, not only is he moving on to junior high, but we're leaving the school too after all those years volunteering. Because we volunteered, and I volunteered in the class for several years, and then the different events they had. So anyway, so for me, it's just kind of that, man, and now this is the last leg, and some of the kids that that he had started even pre-K with. He went into freshman at high school, so we're at the orientation. I was talking to the parents. Like, God, man, it just seems like yesterday that we were dropping him off at, kindergarten and trying not to cry there. Now we're over here trying not to cry over here. Yeah. And that's one of the cool things,
I think the only time I felt my age, because you're talking about kids, and of course, I've got no kids. The only time I felt my age is when I was in London. I got chatting to these soldiers there. And I'm talking about I was in a camp at 9/11, working in an army camp at 9/11, and the sergeant goes to one of the troops. He goes, "Come here," and he went over and goes, Tell him when you're born." And he told me, and he was born after 9/11. I'm thinking, oh bloody hell, I just feel so old. You know what I mean? There's people that it's just like, well, I'm thinking, thank God I don't have any kids neither.
Kids are a blessing, though. I have to admit, they're a blessing. I mean, there's a lot of things you about, and you have to balance of worry and overprotectiveness, and kind of let them navigate how they want to do their life. Kind of help mold whatever their personality leads.
Let's see.
I don't force anything on my kids. Some options. A lot of people say, well, I was growing up, I couldn't talk to my parents like that. Probably some of the problems that people have, and kids are trying to understand emotions, understand how to interact with people. Telling them to shut up or popping them in the mouth just because they're trying to express themselves doesn't seem to work.
So you ever thought I've had a kid and it was a daughter? Always sort of me imagine when she bringing her first boyfriend home, me sharpening an axe, dry sharpening an axe. You know what I mean? As he's sitting there, just just looking at him, dry sharpening it. Then change over to another knife and just give it a little sharpen there. What are you doing? Nothing. This is all good.
So Paul, my stepdaughter's 26. She's been dating a guy for about almost a year and a half, and I haven't met him. So that tells you the experience she has about bringing boyfriends around me. Because her mom's met him, her dad. I was like, when do I get to meet him? She's like, well, maybe at the wedding if you're good.
It'd be like I like to be that scene out of Uncle Buck. You know what I mean? Where he's his fedora and he's got his overcoat and he's got the drill. And he's got the silhouette. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she brought. Well, this guy seems like a good guy, man. But she's brought home some doozies in the past, and You know, actually her first boyfriend actually ended up leaving town, and
Wow.
that was a wise decision.
Without telling her, or left town because of for his own health.
For his own well-being, he left town. He wasn't a bad dude, man. He just
It wasn't a bad dude. You had to leave.
No.
You had to leave town.
You had to leave town. The town wasn't big enough for the two of us. Let's put it that way.
Okay, so let's get into what we're going to talk about, and because I kind of want to get Paul's perspective before I know he wants to jump off. He's not feeling 100%, but I want to get his perspective on this. And before we start talking about the Alabama Brawl, I do want to show you guys a quick video that talks a little bit about it, so that maybe we can kind of get a
Perspective
before we get our.
stream.
Try to make that channel.
Police in Montgomery, Alabama have issued 4 arrest warrants after this viral brawl. Videos captured the moment several people attacked a black dock worker over the weekend.
ABC's Steve Osunsami has more on the fight and who came to that worker's rescue.
The fight that broke out here in Montgomery, Alabama is being celebrated all over the internet for the way police responded and for the way that black eyewitnesses came to this dock worker's rescue.
Those guys who parked there were told not to leave it there, and they left it there.
Witnesses say it started when this crew member in the white uniform tried moving a boat that the owners had parked in this spot. He was trying to make room for a riverboat that was on the way in. That's when a shirtless man came to confront the dock worker, and then his friends came out, and then one of them got violent, beating the crew member. In seconds, there were several people outnumbering him, and this woman even seen kicking him while he was down.
When the first punches were thrown, you just felt so helpless for that man. Like, there's 5 or 6 of them on him.
But all of a sudden, black eyewitnesses who were watching decided it was time to help the man who was being beaten, running, even swimming up to the scene, beating back on the people who attacked the man. Police came in minutes and, according to Montgomery's mayor, detained several reckless individuals for attacking a man who was doing his job.
Police say they have 4 active warrants out so far, and there could be more once they get a better look at this video. And they say that the fighting, and they mean everyone who was fighting, was intolerable. Steve Osunsami, ABC News, Atlanta.
Hard video.
Now, before we get into this stuff, I want to show you guys something that I don't think anyone has made this commentary about. I'm going to rewind this now, because I want you guys to see if you saw what I saw in this one frame here. Right here. Move my mouse out of here, see if the words go away. If the words go away, you maybe see. Do you guys see what I see here? Paul?
What do you see?
Vic? Vic, you're on mute if you're talking.
I'm looking. I don't know. What do I see? I see 2 boats.
No, you see 2 men. 2 men are trying to remove this boat from where it is located. 2 men.
Okay, yeah.
So you have the man here, and you have the man here. Now watch as they come around. Here's the same guy. They're 2 men trying to do this. They completely ignore this guy and go right after this guy. Perspective, please. So far, from what you got, from what we've seen so far, and what you know of the story.
Yep. Okay. Right. So it looks like. One of them was in a works uniform.
Mm-hmm.
That was obviously the port guy, and looks like just a person that was helping him move it. maybe. It's a bit dodgy, isn't it?
Well,
So my understanding is the guy that got attacked was part of the crew of the boat that was trying to actually pull into the dock. Is that correct?
I heard something similar. I thought he was like either a captain, co-captain, or something of the barge
Yeah.
that they're on. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because the boat was in. Well, I mean, I looked at it, and the boat was in the way of the riverboat's jetty.
The riverboat. That's the word. Yeah.
But
yeah.
but
Go ahead.
well, this person right here, where the mouse is, he looks as if he is in some formal capacity as well, because based on what he's wearing.
Mm-hmm. Right. I actually didn't notice the two guys. I was pretty focused on what was coming next, I guess.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that they had been told multiple times to move the boat out of the way. So maybe there was something verbal going on with the guy. I mean, I'm not sure. I do believe they probably figured him to be the easier target.
I think so too. Well, I don't know about maybe the easy, because I think there was told in the stories that I read up on this that he was like in his 60s, and the younger kid. Look, if I'm those guys, the younger kid looks like he is an easy target as well. He would probably be somebody that I would think that someone could easily overpower and take as well. He's touching the boat, but it kind of fits the narrative that is out there that perhaps they attacked the other individual because of it was racially motivated.
Right.
And I have heard that there are hate crimes that are possible coming forth with.
Well, I did notice somebody getting a rock bottom off of somebody in that thing. That was a good WWE move.
Oh yeah. Well, that's kind of what I meant by an easier target, meaning maybe not physically imposing wise, but an easier target in that the repercussions of doing it, may not be as severe.
Maybe it's just herd mentality. Somebody's got to see. He went and seen that guy first. He grabbed hold of him. Then they start attacking each other. Then the other guys, things come over and said, "Oh, what's happening?" So they start attacking the other guy. Then it just ended up in a free for all.
Well, so but here's some of the funny stuff. I want to show you real quick about some of the funny things that happened. Check this out. Check out.
I think him throwing his hat in the air was hilarious.
Oh, when I saw it, I had seen something about the hat in the air, and it was just in passing. I was watching some video, and they said this is like the new Batman signal or something, and I just overlooked it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it was kind of like, wait a minute, this is something really is going on here. And then I started seeing all this stuff, and I'm like, wait a minute. Now look at this guy's shoes. If I can get rid of the extra down here.
Oh, is this the Crocs? Yeah, the Crocs.
Crocs. Yeah. Like, how do you get beat up so bad that your Crocs explode? I mean, just explode. That's crazy to me. But here's my thing. I'm gonna give you. I want to get into some of the other, really funny stuff. But I want to get a little bit more in some of you guys' perspective, especially in the chat. I know most of you have seen this video and have some commentary that you would like to add. Please give me your perspective. I would love to hear it. But here's my deal. My dad and my parents would never allow me to go out and pick a fight with anybody. I'll be in so much trouble if I was the aggressor. But I also grew up in a time where if someone picked on me and I came home crying and didn't do anything to stand up for myself, I'd be in just as much trouble.
Yeah.
So you're here.
When these guys are sitting there and they are. And look, I'm not a big proponent of violence, but when you start something, it's one of those old sayings where you wrote a check that your fucking mouth, your mouth wrote a check that your ass couldn't cash, because they got beat down.
Yep.
So talk to me about what you guys think about the violence. I'm gonna go get my charger. I forgot to bring my phone charger, so I'll be back. But I need you guys to tell me more.
Well, it wouldn't be me. Wouldn't fight near water. I've got a really bad fear of water and heights, so I'll be the biggest coward to go in. I'll just walk the other way.
Well, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah. It was just the thought of going into water for me. If there's anything like that, it wouldn't bother. If it was like on a normal ground and I seen that happening,
Yeah.
I'd step in.
Yeah. Well, there was later on in the altercation, at least one of the guys jumped in the water to get away from the beating. I thought that was pretty funny. And they also tried to get back onto the boat, and they weren't having that either.
Yeah.
You know, but you know, I'm also not a proponent of violence, but if you're going to bring violence, you know, to somebody like that, hey, you got to be prepared for what the repercussions are going to be, man. And I personally think they got off pretty lucky, you know. And I was glad to see that, you know, no weapons came out, you know. No, I mean, except for the chair. I mean, there was the chair shots, but I mean, nobody got stabbed, nobody got shot. I mean,
That's
you know,
very
you
true.
you know, and as you know, Paul, in this country, man, these days, that's the first thing, man. Everybody wants, you know. And that's why I always tell my boys in school when they see a fight going on, everybody wants to crowd around. And I'm like, man, you want to get out of there unless it's a friend of yours and you need to help out because somebody might pull a weapon and you might be the innocent person. And that was a very fortunate thing here, you know.
It's the same over here too. I mean, it depends where you are and thing.
Right,
if you're in the inner cities and you see a fight, you just don't want to get involved.
Yeah,
You know,
because you never know.
I had the same conversation with some friends of mine, and we said the exact same thing. It is so fortunate, and I thought I saw early on in the video in one of the different angles that one of the guys, as the bystanders came and they were at the boat because the four men that were attacking the black guy, the white guys, they went back to their boat, and then when the other bystanders, he went in there like he was looking for something in his boat, where I thought at that point he may have been looking for a gun. And that's when I'm like, I thought it could have been a lot worse than it was. But it also goes to that whole scenario where it is difficult when you see somebody in distress that if you want to get involved, because some innocent bystander who is just scary and think that somebody is, you know, taking advantage of someone else, they think the gun is the first solution to all the problems. And then some innocent person is going to be dead over just a minor misunderstanding.
Well, in the colder days, I have to walk with a stick sometimes, but I have made sure my stick bought has got a nice weighted metal end to it. You know what I mean? In case anybody does to do anything, it could be doubled up as a self-defense weapon.
Right. So I was glad to see that it was just a good old-fashioned, you know, brawl, man. You know, and like we said, you know, one group decided they were going to try to take advantage of somebody, and another group of people decided that they weren't going to let that happen. You know,
you just wanted a slobber knocker, didn't you, there, Vic?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, for sure, slobber knocker, good old JR, man, right on.
You know what's funny? What's funny to me is this: if this was a police officer, everyone who came to that police officer's rescue would be commended. And in my eyes, this is exactly the same scenario to me that I see if anybody else would have been, if it was a police officer, because this guy was doing his job, the capacity of his job, security or whatever the capacity was. He should never have been able to, and someone should never have felt comfortable enough to put their hands on him only for trying to do their job.
And plus,
their job,
plus he shouldn't. Also, plus he shouldn't have been put in a position where he done it alone.
Well, the guy, he wasn't alone.
Well,
he had that other kid
there
with
was
him.
two guys, yeah.
Yeah, it was two guys
there was two guys, but I mean, like there was thing, but he was in a position where he had to do it alone as the security. There should be another security there with him. It's a buddy system.
Or a police officer should have been right there and saying, okay, you got to move this. Okay, well, I'm going to be here to help supervise you in case these guys come back and try to overtake you and tell you, because you've already had problems. You tried to tell them not to move the boat. And
but they had to,
things were getting escalated. So I'm assuming that their protocols are all going to change when this is all over and said and done with.
Right.
I would have them do. I would have them doubled up. You know, two to each shift. In case like this does happen.
Yeah.
So you're talking about would we get involved? I was watching it last night after I watched a little bit of it. My boys, I told my boys, man, you guys got to come and watch this, man. This is crazy. As we were watching it together, and my older son was like, "Dad, would you have, would you got in there and tried to help him?" And I said, these days I'm more of a peacemaker. I would have tried to pull people off, without, becoming, too much involved in the fight itself. And I said, given the circumstances surrounding this, I probably would have got beat up because I look more like the pontoon guys than I do like the other guys.
Yeah,
so I might have got
yeah, you would have definitely got somebody would have definitely grouped you in that same little lot with those guys.
Yeah. Come on, watching the state of that fight, how many of them could actually fight? It was like, it was just terrible. Come on, boys, do better.
Well, I do want to give him credit though. When that one woman at one point in the red was jumping in there, those guys didn't want to hit her, man. They didn't want to do anything. But then the women came in and took care of business, man.
Yeah,
Holy smokes.
The woman in the blue dress went and kicked the man when he was down.
Right, but then later there was a woman in red that got in there, and you could see that the guys, they wanted to clock her, man, but I give them credit that they didn't, and they let their women handle.
One of the ladies did get hit by a couple of the guys. And here's my perspective on that. If you are a female and there's a brawl going on, where men are throwing haymakers all over the place, and you decide to interject yourself into said brawl, I'm sorry, but there's a chance that you're going to get hit. Because at that point in time, no one knows you from the other egregious violators of this man's right to do his job. And I'm sorry, you shouldn't have got in. You should have backed away. You should have had your ass on that boat, never moved, and just sat there and watched the melee. Bring your phone out like everybody else these days does. Bring your phone out. Record all the incidents. Don't try to put yourself in the middle of some violence. That makes zero sense to me. Like that girl who ran up there when that man was on the ground and wanted to kick him while he was on the ground.
Right.
I think she was the one who got it, and somebody threw her in the water.
Yeah, she ended up in the water. Right.
That's what you get.
If you kick a guy on the ground, you deserve to be thrown in the.
Yeah. That's I mean, I don't know. That always opens up this whole Pandora's box, right? Of what's the proper way to respond to a woman, either physically or a lot of times on YouTube, it's verbally. I don't like to go after women. I know neither one of you guys do. But on the flip side of it, does that give them carte blanche to just attack and say the nastiest stuff that they want to say?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's I'm going in a whole different direction here, but the same thing there, man. I mean, a woman starts swinging, at some point there has to be some self-defense, and maybe you're not going to just full on.
I think women can be worse than men.
Well, that's true too. No, that's possible too.
But Go ahead, Paul.
No, you go first.
Well, here's my whole thing. There have been times, in the few times that I've had a physical altercation, whether it be a drunken altercation or a sober one. I've been in a few. There are times where all common sense is out the window. You just black out and you handle business of the physical nature. You don't look around to see, do I need to not hit this person? If somebody's pulling on my shirt, I'm going to turn around and clock them. If somebody's on my back, I'm going to turn around and shake them off and then jump on them if I can. I'm not looking to see what gender you are before I start swinging at you. And I'm sorry, I've never hit a woman. I don't necessarily say I'm condoning that they hit a woman. But if you interject yourself again, and you're a female, you interject yourself into that melee and you get hit, nobody's going to feel sorry for you because you shouldn't have put yourself in that position to begin with, as far as my perspective.
Yep, exactly. That is exactly true. You shouldn't have done that. Yeah. You always walk away from the thing.
My wife would be like, Brian, get your butt in the boat. Brian, get in the boat. From the boat. She wouldn't get out the boat. Brian, get in the boat. And I'm like, y'all got this one. I gotta go. My wife tell me go over here, so I'm gonna get over there.
Well, as I said to Vic, I wouldn't have done anything, because if it was on the normal ground, I might have stepped in. But I've got a really bad fear of heights and water, so I'd be more frightened of falling into the water. so I'd be the biggest coward. I'll go, it looks fine over here. I'll just stay in.
How about the young cat that swam to the fight, man?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Yeah, that guy. And the commentary. I don't know what the videos you guys saw. If you heard the commentary of the people filming it. Oh, that was the best.
Go get him! Go get him!
Smokes, man. Whoever that was, you didn't want her going after you. I can tell you that.
The black Aquaman, and they called him the black Michael Phelps. Everything. That dude was like
the funniest one I heard was Jamichael Phelps.
Jamichael Phelps. That's the one.
that was funny, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jamichael Phelps.
Jesus.
But imagine a 16-year-old feeling so compelled
yeah.
of what he is seeing that he said, I am going to go take action. Good for him. Good for him for having a moral fiber that says, I am not. And listen, the man, even though he might have been able to handle himself, he was a 60-year-old man. Here's the thing. I grew up again in an era where you do something to children, women, or elderly people, you go automatic on site. You getting a beat down. You're gonna have to stay in your grandma's house for like 20 years before you come out, because if anybody saw you on site, you're getting beat down. That was just it. So kudos to whoever his parents are, who said that's an older man getting jumped by these younger looking white men. I'm not saying just because they're white because it's a racial thing for me, but I'm saying they're white because that's the French or the descriptive word for all those white guys that were jumping on that black guy.
Yeah.
This is what happens if you try that. This is what happens when you try that shit in a small town.
That fucking clown, man. That dude ain't no cowboy, man. That's a rhinestone cowboy right there.
Come on, you know
Jesus
what?
Christ.
I'm glad you said that, because Jason Aldean is not a cowboy at all.
I haven't got a clue who you're on about.
Yeah, well, so you would trust us, Paul. You wouldn't like him.
So this is one of the reasons I think it went viral as much as it did, is because Alabama. It happened in Alabama, a state that is riddled with civil acts violations and just despicable things toward minority people, especially black people.
Yep. I've heard about Alabama. Top Gun with Jeremy Clarkson. Just done a thing there, but had to go through the state of Alabama without getting shot.
No.
And they had to write stuff in their cars. And this is
did you hear about sorry, I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead.
Okay. And they went through this. They had wrote all these things on cars, like Hillary Clinton for president. NASCAR sucks. Country and Western is rubbish. And love rules. And they pulled up to this gas station in Alabama, or a petrol station, and they got chased out. This is a full-on BBC production. They got chased out. They had stones thrown at them. They were like, had the boys come. The gas station called the boys on them. They had all these rednecks and these pickup trucks chasing them and all that. And they had to scrub all this stuff off and just get the way out of Alabama.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Some of this stuff is starting to become it's much more prevalent than you would actually think it was in the past, because I've said this. I went to Branson, Missouri on a golf trip, and there are a lot of Confederacy stuff just rampantly posted just about almost every building. There are novelty stores. There's Trump stores with a bunch of hate messaging and all this other stuff on them. And people are just accepting that, who cares if I'm a racist? it's popular now because Donald Trump gave me the right to say these things, and therefore I should be able to take off my hood and wear my badge of racism proudly.
Yep. A place I found like that when my boys and I were doing our road trips, which surprised me, but as it turned out, I guess it shouldn't have, was Kingsman, Arizona, which is was right over the border from California. I mean, we were there getting gas, kind of doing our thing. Met a couple of the locals, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, what year do these people think it is?
Right. Right.
You just realize that it's like 2020. It's not like the 6th. I mean, just openly, racist, hostile. I don't want to say, about the pandemic stuff. There was a couple of stores that I literally had signs, because this was kind of right as it was kind of tapering down, but still going on, where some of the actual Native American towns in Arizona were still closed down. And these places had signs that said, mask wearers not welcome. Wow. It's like Jesus, man. Wow. I mean, they were so far, to the right on these things, and I was like, holy smokes, man, this is right. Like I said, right over the border, and even in right outside of Barstow, we stopped at a really good hamburger place on the side of the road, and I mean, just you could just kind of feel like you said, I mean, I don't want to put it all on Trump per se, but just that tension, right? And in fact, I got into a conversation with.
Did we lose Vic? Paul, do you hear Vic? I don't hear any one of you guys. Hello, hello. You guys there? What happened? You guys jump out of Discord and jump back in. Hello?
Okay. That I didn't hear what you said to get out and get in. I didn't hear.
No, I got you. I got you back. I got you back. I think my Bluetooth my Bluetooth cut off for a quick second there. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Yeah, I was just saying, man. My boys, suggested that we get out of there before the conversation got too involved.
I was listening to a rather juicy burger story. It was actually quite making me hungry.
It was a grab. The food was tremendous, man. The rest of it was something different.
Well,
something different altogether.
So let me ask you guys a question regarding the Alabama stuff. Do you guys do you think that they had the boaters had a sense of entitlement that they could just park their pontoon boat wherever they saw fit and nobody was going to tell them otherwise?
Oh,
yeah, they're probably a bit drunk too.
Yeah, I think they were a little bit intoxicated. Pulled up. You guys aren't going to tell us to move. Before I forget though, if we can kind of just step back a second when we were talking about Alabama, did you happen to hear about the history of that particular dock?
Yes. The Harriet II.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. What's the history about this dock?
I'll let Brian tell it if he wants.
I heard it, but I'm not sure if I'm educated enough to actually tell it accurately. But I think it was named after the Harriet II, which was one of the last slave ships to drop off slaves during that era.
That's nice. There was actually slave auctions that took place at that dock.
Yeah, that's really pleasant. Thank you for sharing that.
They don't call me
Hey,
drinks and depression for nothing.
Yeah, very true. Yes, very, very true. Yes.
You know, so
Keep it up the flow there.
So I think, yeah. So I think there was some sense of entitlement. I think there was some intoxication if you're not going to tell us what to do. I think then it turned into, for sure, this particular person isn't going to tell us what to do.
Right.
You know, and I think that's where a lot of the intervening and the escalating of the intervening came into play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I was watching an interview about it last night, and it made sense. You know, like nobody's condoning the violence, but at the same time, you sit back and you watch so many videos and so many things, you know, about the black man, you know, just being beaten down, being killed, you know, whatever the case might be. And you know, here was a situation where people actually stepped up and said, "We're not going to let that happen here.
Right.
And we're going to take action that it doesn't happen." And I think that's what was being celebrated, you know, by a lot of people, particular people of color, but also people like myself.
Have you guys ever trained in security? Being a security guard? Have you guys
only at like nightclubs and stuff?
Okay, so
I've been security at concerts before.
Yeah. No security, you get trained to de-escalate, don't you, instead of escalating?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, that guard stepped away and said, "Right, okay, then we're going to do it this way," and called the police because he, you know, or did he have enough time to do that?
But what I saw in the video, I saw the security guard kind of backing away. He was backing up, and then the aggressor of the white man charged at him and just tried to tackle him.
Well, it seemed like it wasn't even the guy that he was interacting with. Another guy came running in and just waylaid him, and at that point, like you know, hey, the hat came off, and you know, he said, "Let's go," you know, and you know, and then again, I think it, you know, it just stems from, hey, man, you know what? I mean, I'm not going to lie down for this. You know what I mean?
That bat signal. The new black bat signal is to take the hat off, you throw it in the air, man. People go flock. You better beware.
Yeah, you can see it coming from up top, and you know, it's like, oh man, this isn't going to go well. But I think that's, you know, again, you don't want none, don't start none. You know,
it's the same with women. When you see women taking off their earrings, you know you're in trouble.
You know, M Corner, I would tell you, Alabama is second to the most racist state next to Mississippi, in my opinion, and for most black individuals who know about, you know, the hardships of black Americans. Alabama, Mississippi, they're right in tune. And again, right in the same thick of things where you got the Jason Aldean talking about don't bring that kind of stuff over to these small towns, because he's saying that white people are going to inject the same kind of vigilante justice if you come over there kneeling and trying to talk about this and all that kind of stuff. This is the exact same thing that the black community said is not going to happen in our town. You're not going to bring this white privilege here in this city and try to beat down this defenseless 60-something-year-old guard trying to do his job because you feel inconvenienced because he's telling you that you shouldn't be where you are. You feel entitled. And let me explain something to you guys I don't think I've shared with you guys. The reason why I believe that entitlement is just bad is because I at one time thought I was entitled to a lot of things. Again, made a lot of money, had a nice sports car. I thought every time I go in valet, my car needed to be right up front. Had to be. And if I came out and didn't see it, I'd sit up there berating the kind of, not really berating, but I'd talk down to the valet a little bit. I had to be humbled tremendously throughout my maturity and becoming an adult and who I am today. So when I see people who think just because they are who they are or they live in the skin in which they live and feel that gives them some type of right to belittle someone else that doesn't look like them, or feel as if they can belittle them because they don't drive the same kind of car, live in the same communities. I don't buy that shit.
No, that's fair enough.
That shit
Yeah,
doesn't
right.
fly with me.
Yeah.
Agreed. You know, when I moved to this town where I live, it was a lot smaller. It's built up since then, but what I found when I first got here was there was a lot of families, the kind of first families, so to speak, of the town, and they had a last name that carried some weight here. And when we put my boys into preschool, my oldest into the pre-K, a lot of it was kind of at the Catholic, it was a Catholic pre-K, so a lot of those people had kids there going in there, and right away we kind of got that treatment, like we're somebody here, and I don't go for that kind of stuff, Yeah, I even had one person. We were doing like this volunteer thing, and she literally said, "Do you know who I am?" I looked at her and I laughed, and I was like, "No, should I?" And she's like, "Well, I'm such." She mentioned the name, and I just looked at her and was like, "I have no idea, who or what that is," and I really don't care. And she was all like just flabbergasted by it, and some of the people that had kind of, been just like, they were like, oh, her father owns this and that, and and they were like, yeah, good for you, like kind of like they could never really say it, right? Because they had, they had like been in school with her and probably been put down like that for a long time, and
Right.
I was like, I don't care who you think you are. We're on level footing here. If I come into your business or something, maybe that's something different. I mean, I don't know, but we're all just people here, and I looked out for that for a long time on people doing that to other people, because we also have a lot of immigrants, here, because there's a lot of trucking here and a lot of agriculture, and so we have a lot of that going on. So I've always kind of took it upon myself to kind of, just keep an eye on things. If that makes sense.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna step down. I'm feeling a bit tired and pretty much exhausted now.
Okay, no
Like I
worries.
say, I'm having problems. Yeah, I'm having problems with my breathing. So
Take care
I'll
of
see if
yourself.
it's
Paul.
all.
Take care of
Yeah,
yourself.
see if it's thing, but then I go to the doctors, sort it out. All
Yeah,
right, guys.
hope it's nothing
It's
serious.
good. It's good seeing you, Paul. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'll check
good
in with
chatting
you,
to you.
brother.
Yeah, you take care. All right, thanks a lot, mate.
Hey,
Look
Paul.
after yourselves.
Hey, Paul, if you do stay on Discord, can you send Tabar the link to our Discord and see if he can join us? I'm not sure if he's on ours or not. If you're not, don't worry. If you just go lay down and go take a rest, if you're going to take a rest. I was saying if you're going to be in the chat. Right. I'll get it to him.
I'm just going to totally log off, mate. Sorry.
No worries. I got you.
All right, guys.
All right, dude.
Catch you later.
Take care, man. I'm
Take care,
actually
Paul.
I'm gonna send the Discord channel in the chat and just see if people would like to join. Can I do that?
That's a good idea. I'm sure you can.
I am going to do it. Do that. And I'm not even in YouTube on my stream, but I'm going to get on there. But it's funny when I hear people talking about entitlements and stuff. I usually hear about, people are talking about they're entitled and we're at the same restaurant or we're on the same golf course. We're at the same place, and you think that somehow you're higher than me, and even though we're in the same spot, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, agreed. No, I agree. I try to do my best to look at everybody, as being the same, man. We're all people, even in these YouTube streets, man. We run across people and we think, oh, look how they're living their life and my life. Everybody's always comparing, right? My life's better. Show me your degree. Who's got the college? And all that.
Oh, snap. Oh.
All that bullshit, man. To me, if you're a good person, you're doing all right, man. I don't really give a about your education or any of that. What kind of job you got, how big your house is. I've met people here in town, and especially through the program, that live at the trailer park, literally. They're some of the nicest, coolest, most welcoming people that I know, and I would have no issues, with leaving my kids with them or leaving them in my house, as opposed to people that I know here, like I said, that have been somebody in this town and they got all this money and this, big ass house with the pool, and they're assholes, But I don't know.
Well,
people are people, man.
It's funny that you say that. It's because I do find it easier for me to relate to people that are on my same economic level, my same social level, maybe even from the same town or state, or something that we have in common. That's what we do. We find people who have something in common with us. But here's where the delineation for me is. I don't not reach out to people. I don't not become friends just because you aren't. I don't sit there and go, nope, I'm not going to talk to that guy because that guy drives that beat up ratty ass car, or he lives on the other side of town and I know those are people who who kind of are struggling to make it. I don't do that. That doesn't make sense to me, because as you mentioned, there are some of those people who don't come from the same statuses that you were normally used to or you were in, that are just the same as you, probably like the same things as you, and you will find that you do have things in common with them.
Absolutely. I think for me, the way I grew up, it was interesting. We were whatever you want. I don't know what you want to say, middle class, upper middle class. But I spent a lot of time kind of running around too, with people that weren't such, middle class. So I kind of led kind of a dual life when I was young, and I was very fortunate. I got a good education. I was able to go to college, but I still hung around with some people that weren't as fortunate. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I could kind of, we kind of relate to everybody, and I've always kind of been like that. And then, I'm like anybody else. Just sometimes I fall into that, category. Like my ex-wife, she didn't go to college, but she's been very successful. But she used to always tell me when we would be having discussions, she'd be like, you always got to throw in like these big words. You think you're so much smarter than me because, you can talk like more eloquent. And I'm like, well, I'm not doing it. And I think you've kind of run into that maybe here too. And we run into on YouTube too. Yeah. And no, I don't think I'm better than anybody. It's just how I talk and how I communicate. And if I'm doing that, and I was happy, she would let me know, because, and this is way back even when we were first, had gotten back together and we're dating and stuff. And it was like, no, I don't think I'm any better or smarter than you. This is just, how I talk. I can't. I don't want to say dumb myself down, but I can't try to be something I'm not. And
well, what's funny is that you hit the nail on the head when you said that we get a lot of that even in the YouTube streets. When someone says you speak a certain way, or they think that you work this or have this type of career, they tend to think that you are not as down to earth or even humble. And as well as I do, people keep saying that I think that I'm better than me. They compare me a lot to Nick and have this arrogance about me. But when you get to know me, I would think that is going to be completely disproven in the first few seconds that you meet me. I don't think that I am that type of individual. But there are a lot of people who are easily swayed. Whether it's the color of your skin, the way you talk, where you live. A lot of people can just be turned off because of what someone else said about you, or have those unconscious biasnesses that we talked about before.
Speaking of unconscious biasness and getting back to the Alabama fight situation, I was watching that and I was thinking, right? Here's a guy, just trying to do his job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And these pontoon boat characters, to me, seem like the kind of guys that sit around saying, "Oh man, all these minorities, they're here and they don't want to get a job and they don't want to work." And here's the irony of it. Here's this guy trying to do his job, and you guys are giving him shit for it and beating him up because he's doing his job.
Exactly. Good point. Good point. You can't
And
have
maybe
it
they're
both
not.
ways.
Maybe they're not like that, but they sure gave that vibe, man.
Can't have it both ways, folks. Can't have it both ways.
Yeah. You should get a job, and I'm going to beat you up for doing it.
Now, speaking of that kind of stuff, I do want to play a couple of things here, just to kind of give a little comedic antidote to all of what's going on. I'm going to play a couple of these things that I have found on YouTube, and some people have found them on, what's the other one? What's the other platform? I'm having a brain fart that I don't have.
TikTok, there's TikTok, Twitter,
TikTok,
all those things.
So I'm going to play this from TikTok, and some of these things are just flat out hilarious, folks. So bear with me. Let me get this thing going, and you guys hopefully will see some of the comedic value in some of the things that these people are saying. So here's the first one.
Hey, what's up, everybody? These are my thoughts on the Alabama Brawl. First off, if you're on this app complaining about that woman getting hit with the chair, she should have kept her ass on the boat. But she chose to get in the middle of that melee, and she got what she deserved. She wanted activity, and she got activated. Y'all know what I mean?
She wanted that activity.
And then them pecker-headed white boys jumping on that black man and all that shit. They deserved what they got too. Every damn bit of it. They got their asses whooped biblical style with extreme prejudice, and they deserved it. People are tired of that bullshit. Tired of that white privilege, fucking male, white man privilege bullshit. How dare a black man, even when he's doing his job, should know his place. Someone else said that on a video I saw earlier today, talking about, well, if he only knew how to act. Act how? Doing his fucking job? You tell me now that a black man needs to know his fucking place at all times, even when he's doing his job, he can't do his job, which was basically security, and telling people, hey, you need to fucking move? That's what he basically told him. You need to move that boat, sir. We've got to pull this one in. You're in the way. And that's what led to the fight. But he needs to learn how to act. I'll tell you right now, I bet you them fucking pecker-headed white boys don't act like that ever again. I bet you next time they'll think twice before they decide to fucking get froggy and jump. Because they deserved every bit of that. I don't feel sorry for nothing about what happened to those white people. I don't give a damn. Fuck them. I don't give a federal fuck about what happened to them. That was white privilege at its finest, and he got fucking handled with properly. Properly. So don't be sitting up here trying to defend them white people and trying to get us to have any kind of sympathy for those poor white people, because we don't. Y'all can tell I'm white, and guess what? And guess whose side I would have been on? It wouldn't have been them white people. It'd have been with the brothers. I promise you right now. Y'all stay awesome. Y'all be excellent. And as always, just be better human beings, folks.
It reminds me of you, Vic. What's that for something you say at the end of the show? Sounds like you right there, Chief. All you. But I see a lot of those. I see a lot of those types of commentaries. I have seen some of the other ones, and they were like, "How y'all gonna condone that lady getting hit in the face and getting hit and all that kind of stuff?" Now listen, the guy who with the chair, I get it. He escalated it to a whole different level. It was funny when you watched it, but when it was happening, it probably wasn't that funny, because it's almost like you escalated, everybody throwing fists, and you bring up a gun. I would not have condoned that either. So that was apparent to me as that chair was just as stupid as trying to bring a knife or a gun into that fight.
Yeah, but I agree. Though I did see a funny meme where someone said Alabama is now an open carry state, and it was a person with a chair like hanging at their side.
Yeah, I've seen those too. I have seen those.
That's the comedic value of it. But no, I agree, and I think as much as I commend the people for stepping up and defending what was going on, those that escalated it, I mean, there should be some repercussions as well. I mean, You know, I think
I agree.
it's like anything else, right? Yeah. I mean, you come in swinging a chair like that, crack somebody in the face, or you're just, you know, just there comes a point where, okay, yeah, you're defending the guy, but then there comes that point where, all right, now it's just gratuitous violence, and you're just trying to woof up on these guys.
Right.
And at that point, you got to, there's got to be some accountability held for that too.
That guy liked violence. He likes violence, and he was just like, man, move. This is my day. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Let me beat this chair. Beat these white folks with it. I got some pent up anger. I got to release.
Oh, yeah.
Now let me. Go ahead.
We all know that guy, right?
Yeah.
Hey, as soon as the fight starts, he wants to be right in there because he likes that shit.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, again, it kind of goes back to the YouTube. There's a lot of drama that goes on that people, if they so choose, could stay out of.
You know, and speaking
but no, there's an opportunity to slide in there. So here's my channel. We'll slide in there.
And you know, I've distanced myself a little bit more in the YouTube streets just because I do see the repetitious things that happen over and over. And then you go and you say the next day and they're still talking about the same stuff. The same people are instigating, or people are still, complaining about the things that they know that this person is always going to do. And they always still think, well, we know he's going to do it, but let's make fun of him for doing it. And let's keep watching it. Even though we don't like watching it and we know what he's going to do, let's just keep going. Let's keep this cycle continuing on as long as we can. It gets old for me. I mean, I'm not saying people can't do it, but for me personally, discussing the same thing and the same people over and over is baffling. And I sat back and I was hoping that someone would have actually talked about this on their panel. I waited as long as I possibly could. One, I was busy and I couldn't do a live panel, but I would have loved to have hopped on somebody else's panel and said, hey, let me give my perspective on this because this is viral. People are talking about this thing. I would love to hear people's perspective on it. And it just never happened. They were too concerned and consumed with talking about the same characters that they always talk about. And it just, to nauseum. I mean, I had to take a step back.
I agree. I mean, you're talking about the same thing, and you're not really trying to come up with any kind of solution. It's just all about the making fun of, or man, look what they said today, and they're still doing that. And at some point, it's like, yeah, it's not really fun anymore. And I'm with you. I mean, I've been on a few more panels recently, but just trying to have some fun, trying to add some different perspective to things. But I don't want to keep going over the same things. And,
if we've talked about it and I've been on your panel and I've talked about it and given my perspective, I'm not going to be coming back on your panel and rehashing the same perspective I've already given. I'm pretty forthright. You know where I stand on a lot of things, and there's no reason for me to keep going in and repeating myself over and over. And I had to watch everybody knows Ham Banana is my brother. He's my little brother, right? I watched Ham Banana because I had not been watching a lot of stuff that's going on, and I saw his restream of Quick Vic and the other jackass that's always on there Mike Cerrone saying the N-word repeatedly.
Jesus!
And they had a debate because Quick Vic was saying the A word, but he was using the A word not like you, my homie. He was using the N word with the A is a derogatory term. Like that was supposed to excuse his vulgarity. Like we're not supposed to sit there and hold him to the fire because it was an A instead of the ER at the end. You were using it in the same context that a person with the ER is saying it. And it was baffling to me that somebody who is white feels that they are entitled to say these things and not be held to the fire for saying it. And I've been forthright by saying this. I don't mind. If people are racist, feel free to be racist. I don't care if you're racist. I'm glad you show me who you are. That just lets me know that I don't want to fuck with you. I don't want to rock with you. You're not going to be on my panel. I'll still be cordial. If I happen to be on a panel and you decide to come up, I'll say hello. But don't sit up there and act because I'm cordial to you that I'm going to be your friend. Don't sit up there and act like I'm going to sit there and have chats with you outside of these live streams, because that's not going to happen. I respect people's panels enough that where I'm not going to go hard on you like I really want to, But that bullshit that I saw this morning on this thing, where they both saying the N word over and over again, I was like, give me a break, people. And I guarantee you, while we're live, I'm sure there's other lives going on. I guarantee you, those same people are on live panels, or will be on these live panels, having fun and chopping it up like they're good friends with these people all over again after saying such vile things. I don't get that. And I guarantee you, I guarantee you some of these people on that boat lost their jobs this week.
Well, I heard that one of the guys out of business and it's taken a big hit. I don't know exactly which one, or that was just something I heard last night.
It was a convenience store. He owned like a convenience store or something like that. And he was saying to everybody, he put like a post out saying that he it was a Quickie Mart. Yeah.
Was it a Quickie Mart? A Quickie Mart, yeah.
No, wait. He's white. His name of his store was the Come and Go. He had a Come and Go, not a Quickie Mart.
Oh my God.
So the guy, he said he was trying to de-escalate. He went back to the boat. He said he didn't want anything about it. He said, I was one of the guys that went back to the boat. I'm like, dude, you went out back to the boat after you got a couple of licks in and you saw all them brothers coming your way. Come on, you ain't go back to your boat because you thought you took the moral high ground. Give me a break. You ain't take no moral high ground.
Yeah. There was one guy, I was telling Paul, I don't know if you were listening earlier, that actually when it really started getting hot and heavy, man, he just jumped in the water to get away from it.
Yes, I saw that. I did see that. Oh my God. Start something, then you're going to run like a coward into the water, man.
Would have been funny if that's when the Jermichael Phelps was swimming up, man. He would have taken care of him right there in the water.
That would have been a fatality. That would have been a fatality at that point. Let me show this one other video because this is from a lady's perspective. And I wish there were some ladies in the panel to talk about it, but this is a lady's perspective.
Agreed. I was going to tell you that earlier. I was hoping that we were going to get a female perspective up here.
Penguin, Dutchie, or somebody like that. I would love to get their perspective.
Yeah, because all of us are going to be like, yeah, jump on them, get it, and
we love the violence. Love it.
Yeah, right. I think most of the women here that we know, unfortunately, maybe.
They're like us. They probably go, they deserved it. They got their asses bleed. They should have.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. No, watch this lady. Now, I find it funny that this lady is in her car with this commentary eating chicken. But that's a funny story for me to tell.
Oh, yeah. I saw her. She's good.
Yeah, this is funny. Okay, hold on. Play this.
I don't know why everybody wants me to talk about this Alabama Brawl. Honey, is it because I am an Alabamian or is it because I own a watercraft myself? Here's the deal. Y'all got what y'all deserve. Did you really think you was going to put your hands on somebody that was out there doing their damn job? Not just to keep you safe, but to keep everybody safe at that dock. Here's the problem. People get out there and start drinking out there on the water and come back and they done got big and bad. All right? But you met the wrong one that day, honey. You met the wrong one that day because there was people in places that needed to be put and they got put in their place. You get up on my face, I can't guarantee what's going to happen to you neither. Now, I don't condone violence. But that right there, y'all got a show put on y'all, and that's y'all's damn fault. Don't get up in nobody's damn face acting like you're gonna tell somebody what you're gonna do on his damn dock. All right, that's what's wrong with y'all. Y'all get out there in the water and you act crazy, and come back and got that wet. Did y'all see that one man's Crocs? Lord, it looked like his Crocs got his ass whipped. Oh well.
Oh man, that shit right there cracks me up. I keep seeing a lot of those. I've seen a lot more of the ones that are, coming to the defense of the security guy. And I can't wait to hear his story. Some news station is going to have CNN, News Nation, or somebody's going to have that security guard, his whole story.
Oh, for sure.
And I can't wait to hear it.
Agreed. I haven't really looked at a whole lot of it, but I haven't seen much out there of people kind of on the other side of the aisle from this. I mean, I know it exists. I just haven't seen it, saying that he was in the wrong and that, that kind of stuff, or the other people are in the wrong.
Well, I kept seeing the same kind of narrative that people are misled by thinking that, he's a security guard. His job is to de-escalate. He should have just kept walking away and kept walking away. Again, if you watch the video, the man walked away. He's walking backwards when the first person charges at him and tries to tackle him. He's trying to do his best to say, you know what, I don't want none of this. I'm just asking you guys to move the boat. I don't know what he was saying. But at some point in time, even police officers have to understand violence is imminent. And I'm going to do my best to make it home to my family at the end of this fucking bout. And he did his damnedest. And thank God there were other people around, because I know a lot of people in today's society only want to record. Imagine if somebody, even though they were police officers, came up from behind and pushed that police officer off George Floyd's neck. They would have been in jail, but George Floyd may have been alive.
Maybe I agreed.
There are a lot of people that sit around and all they want to do is get the next viral video out there, and they don't want to step in and do the right thing by trying to either intervene, be the peacemaker. Because the very first black person that I saw on that video, he's in there, he's trying to separate. He was trying to be the peacemaker. He was at
agreed. Yes.
The very first black person that showed up was like, hey, you know, and had his arms stretched, trying to separate. And the white people still wanted to kind of get and escalate things to that violent level.
Right.
And again,
I did notice that. Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for not anybody. I feel sorry. I feel sorry for the fact that it had to be escalated to this. And I think maybe once the violence happened, there were, like the guy in the chair and some other people probably took a little too far. But shit, the white people should never have started that. Never.
I think they got off fortunate. I mean, to tell you the truth, like I said, it could have been a whole lot worse for them. You know, the fact that they were all able, from what I saw, to get up and walk away from that, you know, pretty fortunate, really.
Yeah. You know,
and, I don't want to see anybody get hurt anymore. But I hope they did learn a lesson. You know, like that one guy was that one. Not only them, but other people watching it. You know, to not try to take advantage of people. You know, whether it was an old person, you know, like a black person, and I think, you know, that's part of the empowerment right there. And that's what, you know, I was kind of alluding to that earlier as far as the, you know, I forget the word I used, but the safer person to go after, right? Let's go after the black guy, because there aren't going to be any repercussions, because we've seen so many instances of that happening, you know, and it just wasn't going to happen this time.
Not one white person attacked that other white gentleman that was there helping the security guy. That one white male, I don't know if he was a younger male, older male, I don't know what his age was. Not one person was in his face trying to be aggressive with him. It was, their anger was only aimed at the black guard, the guy. Keep saying security guard. He was like a captain or a co-captain of the vessel that they were trying to dock in that spot. So I'm gonna try to make sure give that guy's title, give him some credit for, you know, having the title that he belongs to. But I don't want to be disparaging talking about him being just a security guard when he wasn't. He was a captain or a co-captain.
Yeah, he was something. Yeah, as part of, on the vessel. That's what I gathered. That's what I gathered as well. The other guy, I don't know, because until you pointed it out, I really didn't. I didn't even notice him in there. But well, I mean, here's my other part of this that I hope doesn't happen, but I don't have a lot of faith in people. You know, that it's not now turned around by those that didn't feel it was justified and see an uptick in violence that way.
I agree.
You know.
Well, let me ask you this question again. And listen, I'm not a guy who's going to say that rap music in the late 80s and 90s spurred a lot of violence and youth violence, gang violence, and all that kind of stuff. I just think music is an avenue to change. It's always been somewhat political. From the dawn of time, music has always been that in every generation. The Jason Aldean song, I don't think it really has a whole lot of bearing onto people's feelings for the majority of people, but some of the messaging in that song is being brought up. It's because of, you know, it was, I think the backdrop of that video was in Alabama, and it was a site of a lynching, and he's talking about it seems like he's talking about, minorities don't come on here or these small towns thinking that you can kind of do the things that you do. And listen, Arbery, I don't know if his name is James Arbery or something. Arbery was in a small town, and those white men tracked him down just because he was in a vacant built house and shot him because they thought that they can exact their own level of justice on a minority.
Exactly.
And if that's the kind of shit you're talking about, Jason Aldean, in your small town, this is the other side of that coin that happens in a small town. There aren't going to be a lot of people who are just going to sit there and allow people who are entitled people to talk down to people who are in a position of power, which this black man was, and think that this, because they are in a position of power, they can't be talked to and be told that they are doing something wrong. That is in itself, to me, is the epitome of Ahmaud Arbery. Thank you, M Corner. This is the if you look up the definition of entitlement, I think these individuals' pictures should be right plastered under the definition of entitlement to me.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, they thought, hey, you know what? We don't have to listen to this guy, and we could put our boat where we wanted. And again, I think there was probably some alcohol involved, but ultimately, what they say, what's in the dark comes to light. And what people really, really feel is what ends up boiling to the surface. And people can say they're not racist and they're not sexist and they're not homophobic. But
you saying
your
those
words and your words and your actions, tell a much different story.
Amen. Amen.
And it doesn't matter to me what somebody else said. But he said that. But what about this? And there's books in our school library and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you could disagree with it, but when you get into this, to the hate of it, that to me that isn't that's not excusable.
I've always, as well as I do, when I start this channel, I always say I want people who are not going to always agree with my perspective. I think having a very respectful discourse with other people who are not like-minded is healthy discussions for me. I appreciate it, and I think it bodes well when people who don't share the same type of perspective or opinions can talk without arguing.
Right. Well, that's the thing, though. But you also have to have people that are willing to talk in reality.
Right.
If that makes sense, and stand behind what they believe, and let's talk about it. And I think there are people in this community that do that. I mean, I don't agree with everybody, but I think there are people that could come on here, have a one-on-one or two-on-one, whatever you want to say, just discussion. And there's other people that can't, because it's going to be excuses and you're putting me down, and what about what the other guy said, and this is what happened in my past, or I didn't say that, and all that shit. And that's not adult, or that's not adult conversation. You know what I mean?
Or let me give you the reasons why I said it. I mean, so I said it because somebody said this to me, and even though they said something that wasn't of racist nature, I took it to a different level by saying a racist thing because they said something really, really bad, and I was really, really offended. So that's my excuse for being a racist asshole. Or I'm with you. Don't be like T-Pain and blame it on the alcohol. Don't sit up there and tell me because you were drinking or you were high or you've been drinking all day that all of a sudden made you racist. That don't happen. Things like that are things. People who say those types of things are just making excuses because they got caught for being who they are, and then they want to say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have said it." But then they go back and say the exact same stupid things and racist things over and over and over again. And I'm like, or they try to say it because I was just trying to say that to kind of take somebody's channel down. I said it because I wanted to cause a strike on somebody's channel. How mature are we?
Right. And that's what I'm saying about not being able to have an adult conversation in reality.
Right.
You know, and if you don't want to do that, then that's okay. You know, and when I get on these panels, and I kind of recognize the people that, they can't do that, or just want to, just keep screaming at you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, I mean, then where are we going to really get with this? I mean, I'm going to start screaming too, and then then what?
Yeah,
then we're both screaming, nobody can hear anything, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, all that over talking, and everybody's trying to get their points in, and then everybody's yelling at each other because they said this. You remember you said that? Oh, show me the receipts. Show me receipts. I'm so sick of people saying, "Show me receipts."
Show me the receipts, right? I didn't. Yeah, I just went through that with somebody. Well, they didn't say show me the receipts. They were like, "Oh, I didn't say that." And it was like, "Come on, man. We all heard you say it on multiple occasions, and let's not play this game, man. I'm just not gonna do that. Yeah, if you want to just deny saying it when we know you said it, then the discussion's kind of moot, right?"
The internet has a long memory, and people have to understand that. Whether or not you choose to remember, or you were too drunk or high, or whatever the case may be to remember, right. The internet has a memory longer and more in depth than anybody else's. And it's easy for people to either see it, clip it, and remember it, just because you might not remember it. And stop saying, show me receipts, because that makes you feel better. Or maybe you think people are living in an alternative universe than what you are living. Right. And we were just making up stuff to fit the narrative because, hey, that's what we do. We just go around and just pin negative and racist things on everybody we meet because it just makes us look better. Let me see how that.
Yeah, what motivation would I have to get on a panel or be on a panel and, talk to you about something, confront you about something, whatever you want to say, and make that up?
Right.
And I went through this with Dave when he said the thing about the fireworks and the slavery. And then I went through with Nick about what he said to you and about which are hard. Is like, dude, what? Yeah.
Guys, can I interrupt for a sec?
Sure.
Are you thinking you're offline?
No.
No.
You still got the panel going?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought maybe you'd stop the panel and you were offline, but you're not.
No, we're still live.
Okay. I just wanted to be sure.
Yep. Thank you.
It sounded like maybe you weren't, so I was confused. Because right now you're showing in YouTube, but none of the chats are showing.
Yeah, if you're looking at the screen, the chat stopped on the screen, but they should be chatting. You should see Ahmad Arbery is from Senior Citizen Saul was the last chat that was in the chat.
Yeah, on the YouTube side.
Yeah, it's still live.
Yeah, okay. But it doesn't show any of the priors at all. That's odd.
But you can still see and hear us on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just wanted to make sure that you hadn't thought that you'd stopped the live and you were still on YouTube. I just wanted to be sure, just in case.
Oh, we're good. Thanks, Liz.
Okay, all right.
Just stay up with us?
I could if you want me to. Sure. I've just been watching another channel over, a lot of drama.
Right. It's up to you.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
Oh, I was just talking about mine in particular motivation would be to make up things that people are saying online on YouTube. Like when people say, I didn't say that, or show me the clips or the receipts of where I said that.
Yeah.
And so I'm just saying that what would be my motivation to be on a panel and, someone like Dave or Nick, because of the people that kind of been through it with, what would be my motivation to make up something that they didn't say or they didn't do? I
Right.
mean,
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly.
it's just that I want to have a conversation about it, right? Why would I try to paint somebody in a bad light intentionally?
Well, from my watching on other channels, most of the time, and I could be wrong about this, so correct me if you think I'm wrong, but when I hear people on other channels saying, show me the receipts, it's usually because they're denying something that they actually said.
Of course.
And they don't want to admit to it. You know, it's just funny to me, right?
Yeah, because you're on a live panel and they think, oh well, if just because you're saying it, my job is to discredit you for remembering what I said, because if nobody else said it, then it's my word against yours. So nothing you can do about it. And it's usually the biggest liars.
Too, though. Now, if you are in a, and I'm using the air quotes because it's kind of a ridiculous term, but at war with somebody, a YouTube war with somebody, and that person is now saying something, I could see how possibly they're, questioning their credibility, or hey, let's see where I said that, because there could be some motivation for exaggerating or making up something that somebody said. So I could kind of, when we see people really going at it, I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've been in a position with anybody that I have a beef with, to make something up, to put them in a bad light.
The liars,
Yeah.
the liars that are on these panels constantly lying about, oh, I know who this person is, or they want to embellish what their career choices are. Those are the ones who try to are the ones who, in my opinion, that are the ones who say, show me the receipts, show me the receipts. When you hold them to the fire, they don't like to have their feet held to the fire because they know that they have lied, and they try to discredit the person who is trying to hold. Oh, why am I listening? Why are you listening to her? Or are you listening to him? And he's got 37 felonies and 13 DWIs and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's the nonsense and the rhetoric of the idiots who think that no one is actually paying attention to the nonsense that they spew from panel to panel, day in and day out.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was also Mike. I went through that. Now that you said that, and I questioned him on something, that had happened, and he was like, "Oh no, that clip you saw was altered."
Oh yeah, yes.
And I was like, "Dude, I was there live when it happened. How can it be altered? And what motivation would I have to make up something about you?" And that's not that I'm attacking you. Just give me an answer, or and then move forward from it, and that's it.
Well, that's another thing. There's another perspective that I wanted to bring up is a lot of people don't feel like they should have to answer to the things that they say. There's no accountability. They skate over it. It's a panel per night, and then it's a clean slate the next day, coming up with a new attitude up until they get triggered, quit, or say something that they are knowing that is completely and utterly false. Then they wipe the slate clean when they go to sleep, come back and think that all is forgiven again. They jump on panel. Oh, see how we're talking today? We're peaceful. This is our cordial conversation. Right. This is what we're doing.
Right.
Like, come on, dude. Stop playing the game. If you're playing the game, that's great. But say it. Say, hey, I'm just out here playing the game. This is good for me. This is my entertainment. I love to get out here and poke and prod and push people's buttons and trigger people. That's what I like to do. And own it. And own it. I'm
in a mute for a minute, but I'll be back in a minute.
Okay. But that's
hopefully.
That's the thing. I get tired of listening to the Groundhog Day over and over and over again on every panel that seems to be out there now. People are still talking about the same individuals over and over and over again. They're not talking about the brawl in Alabama. They're not talking about the Trump indictments. They're not talking about things that are going on in the communities and things of that nature. And I'm going to start getting back to that when I do these lives, because I think it's important to see where people's opinions are on think current events, not people. I would give a rat's ass what you think about Mike Cerrone or Nick Volt or anybody else. If we're on the Discord and you want to share some private stuff about how you feel about certain people, fine. But I don't like having panels where all we're going to do is sit here and bash people from the time we get on panel until the time it ends. It's fun sometimes. I've had my share. It's been great, and it probably will be great some other times when there's fresh stuff, new events that are happening. Love it. But for me, I don't find it entertaining to sit down and watch it and be a part of that day in and day out.
No, I agree, but you do like your time on Ham Bananas, and that's what he does.
Absolutely.
And he's not the only one. So it's.
But Ham Banana. Let me defend Ham Banana to a certain degree. And I know we all know he gets a little intoxicated sometimes and goes to the extreme. Ham Banana is one of those guys that likes to hold people to the fire. He's like, hey, did you say that or did you not say that? He's actually asked me, hey Brian, did you write any bad checks? Did you do any of these things? Did you say any of these things? Or do you have these felonies and all that kind of stuff? He's asked me. We've had these conversations on his panel. So I don't mind when people are on a panel and you want to talk about that particular person and what they said and why they said it and, hold them to the fire for saying it. That is totally different than constantly just the memes and the this and the that's and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. I get it. But just for me, it gets annoying to me to sit around and have to listen to that day in and day out. It just doesn't work for me personally.
Yeah, you have a lower tolerance level for it than a lot of other people.
Yes, I do. You know me well.
And I think that's a thing that some of us that watch that, I have a higher tolerance for it, so I can watch it longer. But even I, have to just click out when some certain people get up on a panel and just keep going and going and going, and I won't name any names, teachers of cough cough, or people like that. But I just I have a different tolerance level, and I think a lot of people do. What I get frustrated with, though, is I think that a lot of people think that because it's YouTube and because it's online and it's not in real life, that they don't have to be genuine, that it's easy to lie, or maybe not outright lie, but to exaggerate or embellish for their own sake to make themselves look better. That kind of stuff I just lose patience with. It's like, just because it's online doesn't mean you can't still be a genuine, and honest. And those are the people I respect the most online.
I like it when you see a channel where there's a person who is got a character and they play this character and they are making fun, laughing at videos. They have these reaction videos and they're just, this character of themselves. But not when they are on live panels and talking about live and talking to other people. You can't fake the funk when you're having a real conversation with real other people. And when you try to, like you said, when you try to be this phony, caricature of yourself, but you're trying to portray it as being the real you, people see through that. People see through it.
Exactly.
And you can't be mad when people are smart enough to understand that you're full of shit.
Exactly. That's you put it much more succinctly than I did. But that's what I mean. When people are trying to pass themselves off as something they're not, and then again, there's all the low blows. They go after people's looks. They go after their education. They go after their socioeconomic status. They go after crap that a lot of times people can't help, and it's hurtful. Why do they have to do that? Why? Why can't you call somebody out on the real stuff?
Because they don't like who they are, really. They don't like who they are personally.
It's, if someone does it, then is it okay to do it back to them?
No, it's not. And it's hard sometimes. It's really hard sometimes when you have someone that is a chronic abuser, and you guys all know the one person I'm talking about, goes from panel to panel and lies and lies.
You're talking about Mike.
lies.
You're talking about Mike Cerrone, right, Mike?
But why does he go from panel to panel and do that?
Because he's allowed to. People give him the platform.
Right. Because people give him the platform, they let him go there.
Yeah, but guys, I think the real reason is he has a pathological need for the attention.
Right, but we all know that, so don't let him up and don't let him fulfill that need.
I saw a clip. I think Ham Banana replayed something that Vic had said too. He said it would be different if Mike Cerrone had his own channel and he was doing this shit, and everybody would go to his panel and watch it.
Yeah.
But people are allowing him to go on their panel, knowing that he is capable of doing all the nonsense and disgusting things and lies that he does, and they still allow him to keep coming back over and over and over again. And that's their choice.
And why do they? And why do they?
Because they want people to come over view. They want them to come over and view it.
That's it. Because people follow him from panel to panel.
Oh yeah.
And they want to see what Mike Cerrone's doing. Right. And so that's why they keep doing it, because as much as they want to say that they're about redemption and they're about education, when it really boils down to, it's about clicks and views. And I get it. That's what YouTube is about. So I'm not disparaging that. I'm just saying be honest about that. Now there are some channels that that don't do that, and and I do gravitate towards those. I mean, I do enjoy some of the fun on the other ones, but it's like, man, if you keep letting the guy up and you keep complaining about what he does, then who's that on? I'm never letting Mike on my panel again. The next day he's, oh my God, I can't believe what he did. Did you hear what he said? Yeah, the same shit he said yesterday.
Yep.
So
the day before,
what are you talking about?
And the day before that, and the day before that.
I've been watching him say the same shit for the last year, and everybody's acting like they're surprised. And he's there because they keep giving him the platform, because people want to see it and people are entertained by it. Not me.
Right. And here's the deal. I like going to channels, and I love the interaction with other people who from all different walks of life. There are people who live in different countries, different states, people who have different opinions. I love having those types of conversations. But when you're having the same conversation about the same people, that is where I kind of I check out. I'm like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
I'm out. This has been great, and I love it. And I might get my digs in because it's fun for like a half a second. But then at the end of the day, it's one of those things where there are certain people who just like to talk about other people, and there are other people who like to talk about ideas and things that are going on in society. Those are the kind of the channels. You might not get a lot of clicks and views, but those are the channels and the panels I love to be on because it stimulates me.
Yep. And I think people. Well, that's the thing that, but the channels that try to do the little bit of both, it ends up going to one side very quickly. Again, depending on who you have over there.
Right.
I mean, and again, I know that there's been channels that Mr. P and Tommy that say, hey, you know what, we like talking to Mike about certain stuff, and I will tell you, there are probably certain things that I would enjoy talking to Mike about, but at this point, the reality of doing that just doesn't exist, because as soon as the conversation starts, people in the chat are going, oh, look, Mike's lying. Mike doesn't know what he's talking about. Look at those boobs, and that's going to get him going, and then it's over. Even if it's a topic that maybe he can't, because he does know quite a bit about sports. I think Mike and I could have an intelligent conversation about current and past sports. But They won't let it happen. They won't let it happen. People on panel will start screaming at him, and people in chat will say something, and he'll get triggered by that, and then it'll be, no good.
Well, the thing about Mike that I find is you say you might be able to have a regular conversation with him. I don't think I could at this point because I've just heard too many lies out of him. But the thing I dislike a lot about him is that when he expresses opinions, he doesn't make it clear that it's an opinion. He always wants to make it sound like he knows 100% that everything he says is factual. Well, I know darn well that a lot of stuff I say isn't 100% factual. I'm not an expert on everything by a long shot. So when I'm saying something, I'll say, yeah, this is just my opinion. I'm not an expert, right? Do you ever hear him say that?
Well, but you can't go into conversations, interactions with people thinking that they're going to have the same moral ethic or the same type of code of conduct that you have. And I kind of agree, even though I wouldn't necessarily say that with about Mike, but I've had really good conversations with Nick Volt. We've had several really good intellectual conversations. And I even told Angel that if I'm on panel with Nick, I still to this day wouldn't mind having a cordial conversation. Will we ever be as close as I thought we were in the past? Probably not. But I'm not going to shy away from people because, give them the power over me because they did something I didn't agree with or it really pissed me off to run me off of a panel just because they're on it. If it gets to that point, then I sit there and go, hey, this was great. I enjoyed the conversation that we had.
Agreed.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, but is he still cordial to you, Brian? Because he's never cordial to me.
He has been. Okay. He's been cordial to me lately. The last couple of interactions with Nick Volt, he's been cordial. In the last couple of interactions with Mike Cerrone, he's been cordial.
Right. I mean, I think we could. Honestly, I think if we brought up Nick right here, and talk to him, I think we could have an intelligent conversation.
Absolutely.
He didn't even know who I was or that I was a girl.
Oh, that's just him playing his game. Not just him playing his games. But I don't think he would play that game if it was just us. He knows who we are. He knows what's going on. He can hold intelligent conversations about certain topics. I mean, nobody's an expert on everything, but I think we could have a good conversation. But when you get into a situation like the panels that we've been on, and I've been on with them, you got people just yelling and screaming and goading, and it's just not going to happen that way. If you've noticed it, even with him and with Mike and whoever it is, I still try to have conversation with them. It's not until they start getting into the total bullshit that I'm like, hey man.
Let me interrupt you real quick, Liz. Let me interrupt real quick. I got to say this. I got to take a time out, and I promise you, I'm not trying to be a quick Vic here, but I have to say what's up to my main man, Big Cam is in the building. He is a comedian, an up and coming comedian. He has a big, large channel. If you ever see any shorts or in videos when they talk about a satisfying racial moment, this guy has got some really good content. I really wanted him to come up here when we're talking about the Alabama brawl. He's in the chat. He's in our Discord, so if you want to come up on panel, Big Cam, feel free, Chief. I would love to have you on panel, man, just to say hello. If you're into this,
have him drop his channel in the chat. I'll go check it out.
I think he just joined the Discord. I believe that's him.
Big Cam I am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Kiwi was or is here as well.
Yep.
Right
Kiwi is here.
Yep. Kiwi. Hi, sweetie.
Shout out Kiwi, man.
Yeah, let me just shout out all the people. We got M Corner is in the building, Senior Citizen Saul. We've got
but
Kiwi.
Is just you, dude.
We've got M Corner is me. Don't get twisted. We had Ham Banana. Paul was here. Liz, by the way, Paul was here for a little bit. He was kind of feeling under the weather. So there was a lot of things that are going on. A lot of people had stopped by. I know there's other panels and other things going on out there, but I'm glad we were able to come up here and have at least a civil conversation, even if it's about some of the stuff that's going on in the YouTube streets that we navigate in. I think it's still good to be able to, talk and be respectful when we talk about, even if you name the names, we're not trashing people. We're just sharing our interactions, our interactions with these individuals. And if people, you're going to have people who say, "Oh, Drinks and Discussions was talking about this person," or they spent 25 minutes talking about you, Mike.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, dude. That's not what we're doing here. We're just sharing.
We spent the whole time talking about.
I'm gonna try to put his link in the chat. Also, I moved things out. I'm in the garage in case you didn't know this. But I moved things around, so I'll get everybody in the chat to get his Big Cam IM's link. He's got some really good commentary. He was actually performed at one of the comedy clubs. I don't know if you guys know. There's a real good comedian. I forgot his name now, but he was a fan of Big Cam IM's when they met, and he said, "Do you want to do a set?" And he was able to do a set on the comedy stage. So he is.
That's awesome, man.
Doing some big things.
Yeah.
I got a lot of respect for stand-up comedians, man. I mean, that's not easy.
That's a hard job. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
To do it well, you bet.
And that's what I keep trying. And that's why I keep trying to tell people. You will see. Hopefully, you will see people like Big Cam IM. The more I start doing lives again, it's because if you don't see me on the regular channels that we've been accustomed to seeing, I'm trying to find other people who are, trying to do good things and having really good content. It might not be for everybody, but when you've got a diversity in your portfolio of things that you watch, you'll be able to start maybe even adapting some of the successes that they've achieved by emulating some of the good things that you can bring to your channel and try to, garner more viewers and more followers and subscribers by just kind of seeing what other people are doing.
In other words, people more at his level.
No, listen, Big Cam he's got over 100,000 subscribers or something like that. He gets I don't know if I want to say 1 million on some views, but the dude's doing big things, man. And he's on his way. He's on his route to the grill as he speaks. So he's not gonna be able to join, but hopefully we'll see him. We'll do some collaborative efforts between Big Cam and Drinks and Discussions.
So now we're getting closer. Now we're getting closer to some YouTube clout.
Yes, we're getting closer.
Because whenever I hear that term, oh man, you were just at my channel for YouTube clout.
And they're not even close.
All 40 people that were watching? The hell are you guys talking about, man? You're trying to steal my subs.
Guys. What do they mean when they say clout? Are they talking about fame and notoriety? What is it? How is it usually defined? Because I get confused about it.
If you don't walk out of your house and your family members tell you how great you are, that's clout. And if you go across the street or go to another neighborhood and nobody knows your name, that means you have no clout.
Right.
Okay. Well.
Yeah, they're talking about just some notoriety and things, man. It's just a funny term to me when we're talking about
when the whole world...
I mean this community it's just such a small. I mean, not even a blip on YouTube.
Not even a blip.
When you
this community, yeah.
Yeah, when you're talking about like even if you put in A1 and what the debunkers and all that, and you say man, the biggest person has around 400,000.
Who would that be? Would that be one of the A1 auditors?
Well, Long Island, Amagansett, like those guys are up there.
Oh,
and some of the debunkers have got up to 100. I mean, they get up there, but that's still.
Funny you mentioned Long Island auditors, Long Island audits. It's funny you mention that because as I'm having dinner and getting stuff together for this live stream, I was watching. I like to go through multiple news streams. I have watched Fox. I watch CNN. I watch News Nation now too, and I just kind of get a varying perspective on what's going on in the world, especially with this Donald Trump stuff. And guess who was going to be on News Nation tonight?
Oh,
Long Island audits. They're talking about cop watching and how it's becoming a big thing, and they had him on a segment on Long Island audits.
He doesn't do much cop watching, though. At least when I used to watch, I haven't watched him in a long time, but when I did, and I never watched his channel. I saw him off of other channels that restreamed him, right? So when I did watch him, he was usually going to government buildings.
Yeah, he's more 1A.
Yeah, he didn't really.
But it's he did get arrested and have to write an apology letter for cop watching.
Yeah, and the rest of the A1 community, the bigger channels, they actually had a long panel with him and got kind of hard on him, you know.
Yeah. He's doing fine. He's doing fine. But anyway, my whole point of that is that, like, even that in you know, in the whole YouTube, realm is pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so few that are even up in there. And when you look at the drama community and whatever else this community is, the numbers are so small. It's not, you know, when you talk about, and again, I know he's probably out there now and listening and all that, and I don't want to get on the radar, but when you start talking about being the king of YouTube, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I'm gonna put it out
for me. You know, and other people are listening to be like, oh, "Who the fuck is this guy? He doesn't have a channel." Yeah, I'm nobody, and I admit that. I'm a nothing. I don't want to be in anybody.
That whole saying is, I'm gonna put it out there for the whole world to see. The whole world's gonna say, look, the whole world's not looking at your channel.
Yeah, but the whole world of, you know, I got 1,000 views. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to throw shade on anybody. Any views you get is good views. But when you start talking about that, you know, this clout and clout chasing and the whole world, and man, look how big I've got. Man, my channel's gotten so big, man. I got 1,000 people. Yeah. Okay. Come on, man. Or I'm gonna make. Hey, man. Once I monetize, look out! I might make $3 a month. Come on. Talking reality. If you monetize, hey, God bless you, man. If you make a little bit of money, that's beautiful. But let's not talk about, this, like you can quit
your job. You can't quit your job with 100,000. You can't quit your job with 30, 40,000 subscribers. You just can't.
No, but you can once you get to about 400 or 500,000.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I watched the channel do that. Yeah, they're at 900,000 now, so they're closing in on 1 million.
That's a lot of stuff.
That's all they do.
Yeah, that's a lot.
No, it's great. No, I'm against it. I know a lot of people hate him and don't like what he does, but he's done pretty well for him and his son. They've done well. Making money on YouTube. Whether you agree or disagree with how they do it, they built up pretty good followings. And at that point you can say, hey, this is my job. I can travel around. I can do what I want to do. And again, if you attach yourself to him, maybe there's a little bit of clout there, whatever that means. That's all I'm saying.
The one thing I always tell people is, if you are out to make some change and are living from YouTube, I hope you are successful. I really do. I want you to do and achieve all the success. And I don't care if you don't think I like them. I said this to Vegas Valley. I will say it to Quick Vic. I will say it to anybody. If you're out there and you want to be successful, I really want you to achieve it. I might not be a part of making you get to be that successful, but I want you to do whatever you want to be in life and be successful. I am not going to sit there and try to, disparage you because I don't like you. Shit, people don't like my stuff. I'm not going to sit up there and cry because people are going to say I'm boring or I'm this or I'm that. I'm going to do the things that I'm going to enjoy, and I'm not going to let other people distract or dissuade or sway me away from doing something that I find enjoyable. And I like talking and having these stimulating conversations with people of all ages, all different types of religious backgrounds and cultures and races and all this kind of stuff. So that's what I'm in it for. I'm in for just the camaraderie of it all.
Yeah, and the diversity, like you said, it's a lot easier to get a bigger mix of diversity for all of those things that you said online than it is in real life, right?
Right.
You know, so I get it, and I feel the same way. You get a lot more of people that are different from you and their points of view online than you do in real life. In real life, you're mostly just, most of us, I don't know about everyone, but most of us surround ourselves in real life with people that are more like us. I know I do.
I have a lot of respect for people too who may not like Vic, but never tell me about it. I like people who are going to sit there and go, you know what? I don't like Mike Cerrone. I don't necessarily like Nick Volt, but I don't go to other people's panels and say, hey, watch out for Nick Volt. Watch out for these people because they're this and that.
Agreed.
If you have them on your panel, you might not understand what they're going to do. If I'm on the panel, I'm going to say this guy's an idiot. And if, like I said before, and if I don't like it, I'll jump off. But I'm not going to sit there and tell you who you can and who you can't have on your panel. That's for clowns and some suckers who sit up there and try to tell people, I know this person, be careful. Get out of, get out of here with all that nonsense. To me, that's some coward shit. I'll formulate my opinions on people myself. I don't need other people to try to force their opinions of other people on me.
I agree. And Discord is probably a better option than YouTube.
I was addressing a comment too, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of got that, dude.
Okay.
Even I can pick up on some subtleties. I know a lot of stuff goes over my head, but some things don't. But yeah, I found that kind of interesting because I actually used that word tonight in a chat for the name of that person in our chat right now. But anyways. I digress. What was I saying, guys?
I don't know what you were going to before you started talking about your housekeeping tired. I don't know what you were talking about. But I appreciate you guys because you guys are always kind of, even when we're not on panel, you kind of keep me humble on a lot of things that even when I want to go off the deep end and really kind of get into the drama stuff, I appreciate the things that you guys tell me, and I appreciate just having, and people don't know, we all three of us, we don't always get along either, but we still have enough respect for each other that even when those moments happen, that we just say, hey, we're going to move on, and then we'll talk another day, or continue having the friendship, and maybe not even bring it up again because we care for each other that much that it's not that important to kind of let whatever else is bothering us to interfere with the kinship that we have all built.
I do too.
I agree 100%. Yeah, it's hard sometimes not to let your feelings get the better of you, and when they do, it's time to step back and have another cup of coffee and think about yourself for a bit and try to figure out.
It's easy for me because I have no feelings. I'm hollow inside. I'm hollow inside, Liz. I am hollow inside.
Yeah, this guy didn't even cry at his son's first day of kindergarten, man.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I am so unemotional. I'm so emotional.
Business as usual. Business as usual.
Did you stay there all day, Brian? Did you stay, Brian? Sometimes they let the parents stay on the first day.
No, they don't let the parents stay. The first day with kindergarten here, they allow parents to walk them into the classroom, get them all situated, but the first day is it. The rest of the days, you gotta drop them off at the front door. They'll be met by a teacher or a monitor, and then we'll help them get to the class. Or we can walk them to the front door, but that's it. They want them to start learning. They want them to start learning that independence right off the bat. Nope.
Wow, that's changed a lot since my boy was younger then, because they used to let the parents stay. And kindergarten, when my kid was that age, was usually never more than a half day. If they did a full day, they'd do like 1 day a week with a full day. But the rest of the time, they were usually doing half days, mornings or afternoons. So when I see full days, like you said yours is, that's a big adjustment for a little kid.
Well, not for him, because we had him in science camp. He took a nature camp. He's done a lot of different things since he was like 3.
Oh,
so
okay.
He there was no separation anxiety or anything like that when it came for him to go to school. He got a little emotional when he got in the car. He kind of was like, I can really miss you, Dad. Really miss Mom, and you could see the tears wallowing up. But he kind of did a good job of just kind of keeping him at bay, and I assured him that he was missed, and so I was proud of him, and everything's gonna be great. Then we started talking about how much fun he had, and he forgot all about the other stuff.
Oh, that's good. That's good, because I didn't give Jake a lot of prep. You know, I worked full time, and so I couldn't get him to a lot of extracurricular activities. When he was that age, he got a little bit of preschool. He got 1 year of a preschool at 4, and then he got thrown straight into kindergarten, and he did fine. But you know, it's a big. I think it's a big leap for most kids, you know, to get used to. Just saying. But I'm glad yours did okay. Sounds like you did.
Yeah, he was great. It was a good day. It was a really good day.
I
told everybody. So, you know, I'm not doxing myself, but my wife has been a stay-at-home mom since my son was born, practically. And
good for her.
She told me that when he went to school, that she just didn't have it in her to just be sitting around the house doing nothing. And she said that she would like to find something to do. And so she ended up actually taking on a job as a teacher's assistant.
Oh, cool.
Good for her.
And so now I have been going around telling everybody that now I am an empty nester.
You twerp.
I mean, I could literally be in my office butt naked all day long and nobody would care.
Wow.
Oh, I wouldn't. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but
well, you guys don't know this. I'm butt naked right now. Nobody knows. So
cool.
No, it's a good thing you're not cammed up, dude.
Why do you think I never cam up? I've been naked for the last 2 years.
No, I mean,
I never got dressed. COVID hit, I never got dressed again.
Well, I don't cam up because I don't want to scare people with, you know, wrinkles and gray hair. But yeah, I mean. I directed that directly at Brian because he claimed to be naked at the moment. So, just saying.
If it's on YouTube, it has to be the truth because you can't lie on YouTube.
Exactly. Hey, somebody on panel the other day said I was a bitch. So that must be true.
Oh, that was classic. Yeah, I heard that. That was good. I actually heard somebody.
Did you rage quit?
Chat tonight.
Oh no!
I rage quit. He didn't rage quit. I saw somebody in a chat tonight. There was a lot of Nightbot activity going on. Nightbot was just going crazy, and someone in the chat actually started talking to Nightbot. And actually said, "Well, I'm a real person. I don't know if you are or not, Nightbot."
Oh my gosh!
And I just lost it.
Oh my god!
I didn't say anything. God bless the young guy. You know, bless his little heart. I will not throw his name out there, but you would all recognize it.
Yeah.
And I just lost it. I couldn't stop laughing. I haven't laughed that long in a long time. It's just, I don't know if you're real or not, Nightbot.
Well, if you really want to laugh, Liz, I can turn my camera on while I'm butt naked. You really get a laugh.
Yeah. It was just, it was a real high point comedically, and I just really enjoyed the heck out of it. What can I say?
You know, a Nightbot sock account might be funny, huh?
That would actually be really funny.
Could
Now you got
do
me
that?
thinking. Of course you could do it. Except for
do anything.
Except for somebody would actually click on it if they were admin to the channel, they would be able to sit there and go,
Right.
"Oh, this is not."
Right. Yeah.
But
They could get outed really
But we
quickly.
know there's not a lot of smart people out here in the communities that we stroll in, so I'm sure you can get away with it. Let me backtrack. You can definitely get away with it.
Until Mike comes along, because he'll know exactly who it is.
Oh yeah, I know who Nightbot is. That's Lizard Breath, aka Brian, aka Liz, aka Big Ferrari.
I know who you are. Oh no.
Oh, that's one of that's one of our.
Let me get on my bat phone and call
Mike's favorite things is he knows who everybody is, but he always gets it wrong. Bless his heart.
But I don't listen.
That's all.
I don't listen to that.
That's all part of the master plan. That's all part of the master plan.
Yeah, the master plans don't seem to go very well, do they? I don't know why anybody bothers with master plans because they never seem to work out.
I'm thinking of a master plan.
Yeah.
Anyone?
Well, good luck.
No one got that? Eric B and Rakim? Thinking of a master plan.
Thinking of a master plan.
Eric B and Rakim.
Well,
damn it, where's Spike when I need him? Where's Spike when I need him? Gee.
I know Eric B and Rakim. I don't remember that.
I'm thinking of a master plan. I'm thinking of a master plan.
Spike did a music.
No, hold on. Is there a follow up with the N word on that or no?
No, I don't think so.
Because there's a master plan, an N with the motherfucking gun. But I don't think that's the same song. That's a different song, right?
I think that's a different song.
Yeah.
Well,
that's the one that always comes to my mind, but I'm not sure who did that either.
It's been a while.
Like you said, we need Spike.
I think I just remembered that once. Just the hook. Thinking of a master plan. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, because we're going back. My God, 80s. Almost over 30 years talking about this stuff.
Time. Yes, sir. That's old school.
There was actually somebody in your chat earlier called Eazy-E. Did you see that?
I saw that. I think they came from Big Cam I Am because I put our link in Big Cam I Am Discord. Okay. So I think Eazy-E was from the.
Okay, because that was actually my my favorite rapper growing up. I actually even had a T-shirt of Eazy-E.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who any of the rappers
are. I went and saw NWA perform at the Oakland Coliseum.
Oh my God! My best friend, who also is white, is a big NWA fan as well.
Oh, I'm glad there was no pontoon boat fight that night. No, we were certainly outnumbered.
Oh shit! Yeah.
What's NWA, guys? I'm lost with
N words with attitudes. NWA.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it means?
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember the movie Straight Outta Compton that came out a few years ago?
No.
Yeah, I've never had the guts to watch it. I've heard it's really violent. Is it?
No. What are you talking about?
No.
Oh.
I think that's the last adult movie I saw in a theater.
Really?
Yeah. I don't go to the theater, but I went to see that.
I
don't do movies generally,
Marvel, right? You're not a Marvel fan?
Not at all.
I went to John Wick 4 at the theaters, and I don't go to the theaters either, but my neighbor and I wanted to go see John Wick in the theater, and it was worth it.
Yeah, I just wanted to go.
I've never gotten into the John Wick, I never really got into what was the other ones he did where it was the alternate realities.
The Matrix.
Yeah, the Matrix ones. Those just confused the heck out of me. They kept going over my head. I gave up.
I'm reading the chat, man. Late night game, Mikey Cerrone 69 is making a Nightbox sock account.
Yeah, he is. Yep, he is.
Hey, what the hell is Kiwi wants to talk about? Want to talk about Niger?
Can you discuss Niger as the Republic of Niger? It's a landlocked country in West Africa. I'd have to look it up, Kiwi. I don't know anything about it.
You know what I really feel bad about with Kiwi, even more so than the health issues, is the fact that with the Earth being flat, like he's just hanging upside down like all the time.
I feel bad for Kiwi because I don't think there's any quokkas where he lives.
I mean, that's good. That's got to be tough, man. Just hanging upside down all the time, watching all this go on. He's got to deal with Mike Cerrone upside down, man. Imagine that.
I'm glad you brought up Kiwi because I wanted to say something, and
I love Kiwi.
I also kind of thinking that I'm gonna have to kind of bring this down to the end because I do have to get up in the morning, take the little ones to school. But it's funny to me, not funny. I appreciate the fact that because of some of the changes that have gone through in our community and people have left, that people have had the fortitude to come on channels like this one where they didn't feel as if they felt comfortable or felt welcomed or felt that they were going to have some type of backlash by visiting this channel. And I appreciate Kiwi for coming over, having a good time with us and chatting and just being here with us when I know in the past that you probably didn't feel as if that was capable. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because I have heard through the grapevine that people are coming back online and maybe be holding some live panels. I hope that people don't go backwards and regress. I want people to progress. And if you try to go back and fall in the line and fall into in the footsteps of what we were as a community in those days, it's going to be a sad day for everybody to kind of go back and repeat the same mistakes that were made during those times. I hope people are really paying attention to what I'm saying because I know for a fact there are going to be people who are going to be either try to be held to the fire because of your disloyalty or for whatever the case may be. If what I'm hearing is true, I don't really care. But I hope that people still feel that as if the enjoyment that they have gathered because of the absence of certain people is the same enjoyment that they can always have by just not paying attention to some of the nonsense that I assure you is coming.
Yeah, it will. It may not last for very long, but time will tell. But it's already started tonight, and it was brief, but it happened. So yeah, it will. But I talked to you about this, Brian, the other night. I appreciate the fact that with the absence of certain other channels, well, it's really just one channel. I'm trying to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, it's just one channel.
People have just felt more free, to go to other channels and be themselves and speak freely. And that's, I hope that can continue. I'd love to see that still happening going forward.
The only person that you can control is you. So no one should come out here and try to tell you where you can go or try to dictate terms or you should feel threatened or anything. Those days are over. And you can't give that power back to some idiot that thinks he can just come over here for a few more months and then think he can run havoc. People are going to give him the power. I get it. People are going to give him the clicks and the views because they have an agenda to deal with and to achieve. I'm gonna stay right here. I'm gonna keep doing the same things I'm always gonna be doing. I'm gonna still stay and go in the same channels I'm always gonna go through. I'm not afraid of anybody, and anybody who comes over here again, feel welcome. Don't feel like you're gonna be on a deserted island all by yourself if you do get the attacks, because we throw that hat in the air. We're there. You throw that hat in the air. We're coming. We're coming. Throw that hat in the air. That's the bat signal. We're coming. We're coming saving you. We're gonna beat up on everybody.
Send up the bat signal.
So
yeah, I'm actually glad you said that, man. Because there was a time when it was very uncomfortable to go to channels, be in chats, and especially be on panels, and I'll admit, man, I kind of fell into that mode too, and it wasn't really out of fear. As I mean, I don't really want to be a party to this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not fun.
Yeah.
To try to go somewhere and then be, chastised or pulled into something or blocked or whatever the case was, and I did, I don't really want to be on, mentioned on these other channels, be it Joe's or, Hand Banana clipping something or whatever it was, but over this last month or so, the freedom to go where we want and kind of do and say what we want, has been good, and I agree with you, and so, I for one who kind of fell into that trap, whatever it was, and why ever it was. I'm gonna go and do what I want to do where I want to do it. If people want to talk about it and say, oh man, you were over there, so you're supporting this and that, so be it. And again, I'm always available if people want to have a conversation about it. I'll have a conversation about it, and I'm not gonna pull back this time, man. And I'll let you know how I feel. And again, if it's something that I'm doing wrong or something I'm saying that I need to be held accountable for, I'm okay with that too.
Right.
Me too.
But if you start associating me with something because I'm there with somebody, then that's nonsense, and I'm just not gonna play that anymore. And I don't think other people should either. I think we should, like you said, I think we should move forward, doing what we're doing, and not let anybody, either out of fear or anxiety or being exposed, whatever the hell that means, stop doing what we're doing to have a good time. So,
okay, wait, guys. We've got a Nightbot.
Nightbot is here. Nightbot is here. Yes, I love it. I love it.
But wait. Trigger the real Nightbot. And isn't there something else that goes in the real Nightbot's name?
I don't know, but we know that's not the real Nightbot, because Nightbot hates me.
Well,
I think it's emojis.
What triggers real Nightbot?
The emojis.
The emojis. Okay, so hang on.
But I own Nightbot. So I own Nightbot, so he probably will be my friend. He won't come at me.
Okay, I'm gonna give real Nightbot something to yell about. Hang on. I want to see what.
But you know what, Dick? But I don't have faith in people to understand that we've matured. And if you go somewhere and then you come back and you try to be the same person you were months ago, and everybody has matured, that sends a message to me that you're just not as mature as I thought you were. Because if you've moved on, and now all of a sudden you've fallen back into those old bad habits and stuff, that says a lot about you individually. And I hate to say it, I don't have a lot of faith in a lot of people. I know it's going to happen. No, I'm not gonna be surprised because I know it's going to happen.
No, I agree. I don't. I'm gonna just sit back, kind of watch it happen. And again, if people want to, just do what they need to do and do what you need to do. To make you feel comfortable too, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't judge people for I don't judge people for backing down on whatever the fight is for personal reasons. You know what I mean? I don't want to be doxxed. I don't want my family doxxed. So if somebody says, "Hey, you know what? I'm just not going to go there because I don't want that to happen." I respect that.
I respect that.
What I don't respect is the people that get that treatment, but then want to go back, and being cool is one thing, but then being overly cool is something else.
Yeah, promote and try to get views for them and get people to go over there and just kind of being a publicist.
Yeah.
That's totally different. That's some whack shit for me. That's whack sauce.
People. Yeah, people don't understand the difference in things sometimes. I think they think everything's kind of lumped into one category, and it's really not. And the people that did take all that heat and really stood up to it, I still got a lot of respect for that. Even though there might be other things that they do and say that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
I don't lose sight of that fact. Sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, maybe there was a different way I could have handled things, and maybe I should have been, stronger at one point. But, it's like I just don't want to. Like I said, I just don't want to be pulled into this. Now it's like, you know what? I'm gonna go over here. If somebody, whoever it is, it doesn't even have to be Joe. It could be anybody. Doesn't like that I'm talking to somebody because they talk to somebody else and they think that there's something. Hey man, that's on them, man. That's just not on me anymore. Right. You know what I mean? I'm just going to be true to who I am, and just because I talk to somebody in a civil manner and we have a conversation, that doesn't mean that we're cool and we're best friends, man. I don't know where all that stuff gets started either. You know what I mean? I'm just not somebody to jump on a panel. And there's not somebody to jump down somebody's throat and fight with them, man. And just because I can talk to Nick, I can talk to Joe, whoever it is, it doesn't mean that man, we're best buds and we're behind the scenes and whatever all that shit means. It just means I'm cool. I'm just talking to you.
But people are going to assume that because you're nice to them.
No,
okay?
they can
assume all they want.
They can assume it. Yeah,
it's what people. It's the first thing. It's the first place that most people go to.
I could give a rat's ass what anybody thinks, though. I could give a rat's ass what anybody thinks about anybody I speak to, what channel I go to, whatever. That's not going to affect what I do here on Drinks and Discussions, what live streams I do, what videos I put on here, or what topic we talk about. Because those people are not going to come over here and participate anyway.
But if that person's a mature adult, what would they do with that? What would they do with that? They would come and talk to me.
Yes.
And get a better understanding
about it.
Yeah.
And say, hey, I saw you on such and such panel, and that person, supports this person, so therefore, are you supporting that behavior? I mean, wouldn't they come and talk to me, or would they just say, oh, look at that guy, man, he's talking to whoever. I don't even want to say the words and the numbers and all that nonsense, but that's what it's really about, right? Yeah. And they say, do you support that because you're talking to that person, and so instead of running to their own panel and then saying, oh man, don't let that guy over here because he supports that guy, why not talk to that person on why they're doing it?
Right.
Well, even companies gravitate towards that mindset. Boeing had a code of conduct, and we had to sign it every year. And one of the things that they were big on was appearance. If you work at Boeing, you represent the company. So even if you're doing something and it's not quote unquote wrong, if it gives the wrong appearance and reflects badly on the company, you'd hear about it. They'd let you know. So a lot of people have that mindset of appearance.
Well, listen, and those boaters are probably going to get fired from jumping on that black captain of that ship. We already get that. There are codes of ethics that you have to abide by when you represent a company. But when you are representing yourself,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Who am I
who gives a
representing? I'm
shit?
representing me.
Yeah, you're on a desert island. You're the pirate of your own ship. You don't have to answer to nobody for anything that you do except for yourself.
Well, all I can tell you is when I was still working and I was working at Boeing and I was 100% dependent on my paycheck, you know, I was very careful about
But this is
anything
not. This is not about your job. This is not about your job. This is about just you personally. There is no job. There is no company that you're representing when you're on YouTube. You're representing yourself.
Yeah, but not all companies look at it that way, Brian.
What you keep saying companies? I'm not talking about companies. I'm saying you, Flaky Jake. You are not a company. Yeah. If you go to a panel, this is not a company that's going to come back and say, "Hey, you're on this panel." You don't have to answer to your company by being on a YouTube panel or a channel.
If I had gone up while I was still working, and on any social media, and said anything about Boeing that could have been misconstrued or would not have been appreciated by the company,
that's not what we're
even
talking
though
about.
I was just representing my own opinion.
That's not what we're talking about, Liz. We're talking about if you go on a panel that Vic doesn't like, and you go on the panel and Vic gets mad at you for going on that panel. You don't answer. You don't have to answer to Vic. Vic is an individual, and if his feelings get hurt, why do you care?
Yeah, that's true. I get that. I'm also, trying not to care if other people don't like my opinions when I express them, because I've had some issues with that lately. So, that's different. I get it.
Yeah.
Right.
Who cares?
And the point I'm making is, if and so let's say, I was on a panel, and you guys had some kind of issue with that person or what they were doing and why I was there, right? My thing would be, send me a message and come to me and talk to me about it.
Exactly.
Not have Drinks and Discussions start a panel with with you and Paul and be like, called, man, Vic was over it, such and such. That's my thing. If people just have an issue, then talk to me personally about why I'm there, what I'm doing there. And again, like Brian said, and this goes for people I even talk to on panel, the answer of, it's none of your business, I do what I want to do. That's a valid answer to me.
It is, but it torques some people off.
Well, but it is what it is. Like, I've questioned people about things that they said. If they said, "Hey, that's not your business," okay. Yeah, but don't lie to me and say you didn't say it or you meant something different than what we heard, or I didn't hear what I think I heard. Don't do all that. Just say, you know what, you're fucking nobody, and I don't have to answer to you. Exactly. And I would say, okay, you're right, and I'll move on.
What I'm frustrated with right now in the community is I don't get why if you are even in the chat, okay, if somebody expresses an opinion in the chat and you come back in the chat and say, well, I respectfully really don't agree with that. Here's what I think. And they get mad at you.
So what?
And I'm like,
so what if they get mad at you?
Why?
But who cares? Not everybody's going to see what your opinions are. Not everybody's going to like your opinion. And if you are on social media, you have to understand that comes with the territory. People are going to disagree with you, and some of them are going to disagree with you in a way that you probably think is rude, obnoxious, or gets into your feelings. That's just the way it is. So if you don't want someone to come out and talk about your opinion and throw it in your opinion in your face, don't express your opinion.
Yeah, no, you're right. I grew up in a household where if you express your opinion respectfully, then at least your right to express it was always honored. Nobody got mad at you. You know what I'm saying?
I grew up in a household where if you expressed your opinion, you got hit.
Yeah, you got smacked in the mouth.
Really?
Yeah, your opinion was given to you.
Yeah.
You can't have your own opinion. Your opinion is what
Children should be seen and not heard, man. Children should be seen and not heard. And
guys, really?
Yeah. No, I'm not kidding.
So that maybe explains the difference of why I don't understand.
But Liz, you have to understand. You have to take your biological clock and throw it in the trash. Because can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Don't move your mic.
Your biological clock has to be thrown out the window. The way things happen when you experience them are totally different, and you got to have that perspective when you are dealing with YouTube and internet and all that kind of stuff. Nothing that you've ever experienced is going to be the same.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole different. It's a whole different world, man. It's almost 2024.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
We're not face to face. We're not held to these standards that you're talking about, and it's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll say the more I will say this about what you're saying about catching the criticism. The more that you comment, the more that you express your opinion, the more that more that you go on panels, and the more that you talk, the more backlash that there is.
Absolutely,
it's just what it is, and honestly, that's why for a long time I just stopped going on panels, because it was like, I don't really want to deal with all this, and it wasn't that I was just like up at night, oh my God, what did so and so say about me and this and that.
Oh yeah.
I just don't want to be held under that microscope, so I'll just kind of sit back and watch. And now it's like, okay, I'm ready to come back on here, but I know, again, going on more panels, being in more discords, making more comments, people are going to disagree and have their opinions, and they're going to express them how they see fit. And some people are going to be like, oh man, that's like that man, what a cool guy, that's a great dude. And then other people are going to be like, that guy's a bitch. That guy's a piece of shit. That dude. Yeah, he's this, he's that. Oh, he comes here, he's going to try to tell us how to run our channel. He doesn't even have his own channel. And I'm willing to accept that. And I'm just saying, the more you put yourself out there, and the more you're recognized, the more it's going to happen. And not everybody's going to always agree. And you got either you accept that, or you don't, and you just don't participate as much anymore. That's all.
And think about this, Liz. Think about this, Liz.
Right.
Think about this, Liz. We used to go live every Tuesday, with Marcus, Vic, and a bunch of some other people, and who was it? Jake. We stopped because the ridicule and the people trying to come in and jeopardize the integrity of the channel and all that kind of stuff. It stopped being fun. But guess what? I don't think we've lost any, if not, we haven't lost that many subscribers since I stopped going live. We've actually picked up some when I was just doing shorts, and those, remember we were doing those premieres?
Yeah.
We're picking up subscribers. And since I haven't done those in a while, and I haven't lost a whole lot of subscribers to this channel, because they know when we do go live, we can still have these types of conversations, as what I believe. I think people know we're going to be honest.
I've got another question for Liz on this topic.
Okay.
The people that have criticized you or come at you in a way that you feel is unfair, does that outweigh the people who have befriended you, or say what a good person you are, or welcome you when you come to their chats or their panels?
Oh, not at all, Vic. Not at all.
Okay.
In fact, it's only two people
Okay.
And
So is their opinion that much more valid than all those other people?
no, it's not. No, what I think what hurt me, the more I think about it, is that they took action against me regarding their channel without even trying to talk to me.
Okay,
And they couldn't.
that's fair. Because that's what I was talking about earlier. They should have reached out and said, "Hey, you know what? We don't agree with what you're doing or saying." And
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair.
And they didn't do that. So that, and then one of them followed me. So I just left. You know, I figured, well, okay, you know, I'm not wanted. That's okay. I'm not hurt about that. So I'll just leave and no problem. And I didn't make a big deal about it. I just left. Went to another panel and and I was just in the chat, and they followed me over and started yelling at me there.
Right.
And I was like, seriously, dude?
So obviously you've made some kind of impact on that person. So my thing would have been like, hey, look, if my opinion or what I've done has upset you that much, why don't you just reach out to me personally and let's talk about it?
Yeah, exactly.
That would be my response. You know.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't think of it, Vic, and I should have.
Yeah. Okay.
And the bridge is probably burned. I don't know.
Whatever. There's no burned bridges on YouTube. Come on.
You don't think?
No.
No, there's no burned bridges.
I don't know, Vic. If Mr. Cerrone came to me personally, you know,
here's the deal.
Private
Here's Liz.
And...
I'm interrupting you, and I know I'm interrupting you because I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm going to actually get ready to get some last comments because we're going on 3 hours, and 2 hours is usually kind of where my threshold. But there's a time I thought that I was getting too close to this YouTube stuff. I cared about what people were saying. I was kind of thinking too much about it. I was spending way too much money, too much time away from my family. When I could be, instead of on playing Legos or something with my son, I was on YouTube. I had to take a step back. And listen, if people have that luxury in life where they can do it every day, and they can be on it, I mean, every day, and even on the weekends, you got to sit there and say, hey, what effect is that taking on their personal life?
Yeah.
Do they have a personal life?
We all get there, bro. We all get there.
So I'm not telling people not to do it because I'm not doing it. But there are times where when you sit there and you're too worried about what people who you've never met in life think about you, I would consider that as being getting a little too close to the YouTube environment where you might need to say, hey, let me just take a couple of days off. Let me go see this new movie. Let me watch this new show. Let me ask Brian on Discord to see what movies he's got and go from there. Because if there's no way in my mind right now, and I'm not criticizing you, you know I love you, you are my number one. I'm just telling you, it makes zero sense to me why you would feel some kind of way about people you don't know, because you never used to be this way, what their opinions of you are. Because you don't know them.
True. No, you're right. You're right. It's true. 100%. I'm sure you know exactly who I'm alluding to.
Yeah.
Brian, it doesn't matter.
Now, Brian taught me this a long time ago, man, was when you're trying to help everybody on YouTube and you're so invested in what's going on in their life, then you're too deep in this.
Well, you know,
and he was right. He was right.
Yeah, what can happen, at least for me, is that it's like I don't know if soap operas were big when you guys were young, but when I was a kid,
we talked about
this. Huge, right?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Maybe,
the world turns. General Hospital.
Hey, can I make a suggestion? Since I know Brian's got to get off pretty soon. Maybe we should end the live and just go back and talk for a couple of minutes amongst us. Yeah. That might be a good idea at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
Liz, go ahead. Give your final words real quick. You're the last to join, so give us some parting words, if you will.
I'm happy to have spent time up here tonight, guys. Thank you. That's the best thing I can say.
We always enjoy you. We're glad you're always welcome. You know that, and we're always happy to have you.
Yep, I appreciate it.
Vic,
I'm going to keep it brief because I know Brian will go for about 20 minutes. And I'm but it is good. It is good. It is good to be up here. It is good to be up here with you guys and Paul earlier. And I will say here, and I'll say it again backstage. If I criticize you or if I come at you with an opinion on how maybe you can improve or what I see happening, it's only because I care.
Amen.
Because the people that I really don't care about, I don't give them that time. You know,
Yes.
and that I'm trying to hurt anybody. It's just that I see something going on, and I see maybe something that can be improved, or maybe that should be looked at, and so I take it upon myself to do that. And like I said earlier, if you don't want that advice or think it's unwarranted, you can always tell me this is my own business, and I will certainly do that. And like Brian said earlier, and I said, and Liz said, moving forward, wherever you're having fun with YouTube right now, keep doing it moving forward, and don't worry about what other people are clipping or they're going to say about you, or whatever they're going to do. It's gonna be okay, man. Just be true to yourself, and if you're not having fun on YouTube, then you're doing something wrong, man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't come here to bring more stress to our lives.
Right.
We come here to bring less, and when it starts becoming more stressful and more hurtful and more negative, then it's time to take a step back, man. And maybe that step back's a day, maybe it's a couple days, maybe it's a week, maybe it's forever. I mean, who knows? But just don't let it become a negative on your life.
Exactly. I agree.
That's it. That's it.
That sounded like a Brian goodbye right there for a short I'm going to emulate a little bit from Vic Ferrari. Like I said before, if you are listening, if you watch this on the replay, and I don't even believe that Drinks and Discussions, I am in a community. I'm not the A1. I'm not the Cop Watchers. I'm not, watching videos and a response kind of a channel. Just totally independent, and I do my own thing. But when you interject, and I'm going to use this as an analogy. If you have a person that was in your life you felt was toxic, and you finally get rid of that person, don't allow that toxic person back in your life, because it's only going to bring you down. And I am going to hope and pray that the majority of the people that I have gotten to know and appreciate on YouTube don't fall into the traps where they allow that toxicity to overtake what they are trying to do on YouTube or on YouTube, and make it a more of a miserable place in which they have since created a more of a positive, enjoyable space for them. Keep it moving forward, stay mature, never go back. I want to say always thank you to Liz and Quick Vic. I want to say thank you to Number 88's Senior Citizen Paul M. Corner. My Big Cam I Am. Again, if you guys haven't checked him out, please do. Hopefully we'll get him in here and talk to him one night. And then also everybody else, NZ Kiwi. There was a couple of other people that came through earlier on. Sorry if I don't remember your names, but thank you all for just watching. If you're watching us on the replay, leave us a comment and let us know how we did. Talk about some of the things that we could talk about in the future, or what we talked about tonight. Love to hear your input or your feedback so we can become better as we go along. I hope to do more of these now that the little one is in school. Maybe even some daytime live streams. If I have a break from some of the new stuff that I've got going on in my life and my career, it's kind of got me busy. But maybe we can start doing being more consistent on these live streams to interact with some of you and get to know you guys a little bit better as well. So with that, for Flaky Jake, for Vic Ferrari. Oh, Paul, Sir Paul, I hope you're feeling better, sir.
Yep.
You are our brother. We hope you're feeling better, and it's nothing serious, and we hope